Time check brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. Brooke and Randy and Matthew with you. Great to have you with us. How was your weekend?
Oh, my weekend was great. A lot of relaxing.
Good.
A lot of watching the Cardinals this weekend.
It was.
Yeah, and some good food along the way. So
good.
I would say a really good weekend. How about yours?
My weekend was good too. What was? Brooke has to fix her camera
Per usual.
Okay, we'll hear about the food as we go along. But top food of the weekend.
Ooh, so we actually went to Louis de Mun. I hadn't been there in a while. Have you been there?
No, I have not.
Oh, you have to go. Rocco, you've been there before, right?
Rocky goes to all the foodie places.
Oh, I know. He's a foodie at heart. It is absolutely delicious. I had prosciutto with fresh Parmesan and peaches. That's one of their big summer dishes. Everything there is so good. So we've been trying to stay healthy ever since we got back from the honeymoon because we kind of went a little bit overboard on the honeymoon, which is what you do. But then we were like, yeah, it's time for pizza. So we had a lot of bread.
There you go.
That's how you know it was a good weekend.
Well done. Good. We have quite a show coming up. We're going to talk to Chris Kerber, the voice of the St. Louis Blues. We're also going to talk to our buddy Chip Caray, hopefully from Pittsburgh. Texted Chip, didn't hear back from him, but he always is fine.
He'll come through.
So yeah, he always does. It was a good weekend of Cardinal baseball after getting rained out on Friday. They split the doubleheader on Saturday. Win yesterday, 6-2. Miles Michaelis, 6 innings. He allowed 2 earned runs. Another quality start for the Cardinal right-hander. And the Redbirds are closing in on Atlanta for the first wild card spot now.
Wow. Just as you expect to come in the second half of the season.
Yeah, no
that
doubt.
was a great way to really start things out when you're talking about the second half, because we knew that this was going to be a really tough August for the Cardinals, but it really, I know they took 2 out of 3, and which, by the way, was their first season series winning against the Braves since 2017. That didn't even seem real, but that's true, and you're able to come out and do that. And it almost seemed like they were able to almost sweep the entire series. Now, game 1 of that doubleheader, that's the one I'm talking about, where you really were in control of that game. Kyle Gibson was really cruising through, and then the 7th happened. Would you go to anybody else in that situation, or are you okay with Oli Marmol going to Ryan Fernandez?
I think if you were going to make a change, and that's my qualifier here, if you're going to take Gibson out, I think the only move was to take out Gibson for Fernandez. Because you had Rosario, a left-handed hitter, coming up, and then you had 2 right-handed hitters on deck, and you have the 3-batter minimum. So I don't think you bring in Romero or King to face those right-handed hitters in case Rosario gets on. So I thought that was the logical move. And sometimes, Brooke, you can make the right move, and it still doesn't work. The other team is trying to, and I think that was one of those scenarios where Gibson was at 100 pitches, and the Cardinals seemed to be hard and fast about getting a pitcher out of there with 100 pitches. I don't think there was another relief pitcher that I would have put in there at that point other than Ryan Fernandez, and it just didn't work out. Rosario hit a home run.
Yeah, hindsight is 20/20, of course. Maybe you could have kept Gibby in that situation, but at the same time, you want to go to the fresh arm, and you had Ryan Fernandez available there in that situation, and he has been really good. I saw the post-game, Oli Marmol saying that the bullpen has been their strength this entire season, and that's really true. So you go to that fresh arm in that situation. But really, for the entire weekend, a lot of positives, including Alec Burleson.
Oh, man, Biscuit is amazing. He's I would have never thought that the Cardinals would get this sort of production. Would you agree that right now he's their best hitter?
Oh, yeah. I
don't think there's any question about it. And I never would have thought that I would say that in Alec Burleson's career, even though he hit 331, I think, in his last year in the minors, I would have never thought that I would say that he is the best hitter that the Cardinals have. But he's the best guy they have going now, and they have a pretty decent lineup. I want to go back to this. I think we need to look at the series from a 5,000-foot view. If I would have told you on Friday that the Cardinals are going to take 2 out of 3 from Atlanta, would you have taken it? I said,
oh, yeah.
The circumstances don't matter. You're going to get 2 out of 3 from Atlanta.
Yes, 100%.
I think that's the way I look at it, too, is I didn't expect the Cardinals to take 2 out of 3 at their park from one of the best teams in the league, and the Cardinals did. So, sure, you would have liked to have swept the series. You'd like to sweep every series, but nobody goes 162-0.
And that's the thing, is that I take away from it that you almost were about to sweep the series. And even in that game, we talked about pitching. Here's the thing. You only scored 2 runs in 10 innings. So it does go back to the offense when we're talking about game 1 of that doubleheader. But there's still a lot of positives from the weekend, including where you have Paul Goldschmidt, where he got a solo home run. I know that we're going to touch on that, about him hitting from the 7th spot. What do you think about that?
I'm kind of surprised that they did it so quickly after the break, but I would guess that one of the things that Oli Marmol is good about is communicating with his players, and I'm sure he brought Goldie in and said, look, you're struggling. I want to take some pressure off, and we're going to put you down in the 7th hole. And I'm sure Goldie was completely on board with it. He wouldn't push back. He's such a team player. And at least for one game, it worked. So let's see if that can continue to work. You need to have good hitters up and down the lineup. And the Cardinals right now, especially against right-handed pitching, they have better options in the top 6 than Paul Goldschmidt. So number 7 is probably about where he should be against a good right-handed pitcher.
4 solo home runs yesterday.
Yeah, pretty good. And to get back to Alec Burleson, 6 of 14 in the series with a homer and 6 RBIs. His slash was 429, 400, 643. And for July, Brooke, hitting 358 with a 370 on base, 672 slug for an OPS of 1.042, 6 homers, 21 RBIs in the month.
Ooh.
Pretty good.
Yeah, and he's really exciting. And some other big news from him this weekend. Do we address that? Because we're getting texts all morning about it.
Yeah, the Cardinals.
People are talking about it on social media still.
Cardinals home run celebration in honor of Alec Burleson being a DJ. He was a rapper. That's how he got the nickname Biscuit, which is a story that we broke, by the way.
Kyle Gibson, yes.
Yep, when we were at the Big League Impact event, and Biscuit told us about it. So the Cardinals have a celebration where they've got like a DJ thing where they hold their hand over their ear and they have their hand in the air, kind of like a DJ at a club.
Yes.
And it became a political thing, like most things do now. And
you don't say that. Things are kind of touchy right now in the political sphere.
So people thought that it became something in honor of the former president, and I don't know if, I do know that something that was fun for them had to be ruined by politics.
That's the thing, is that it took a couple of social media accounts to say that they were doing. They didn't even say, like, this looks like, I don't know if you saw it, like a very big social media account, baseball account, just really
Which one was it?
I think it was Talkin' Baseball, I believe. Is that what it was, Rocc? I think it was.
We'll check it out.
Yeah, Talkin' Baseball. The way that they framed it really made it seem like this is what they're doing. This is the home run celebration that they're doing. And I think I sent it in the group chat last night. And so once you put that out there, the people are going to run with it. And they weren't the only social media account that was doing this. And after the game, Derek Gould and the other reporters asked Matt Carpenter about the celebration. And he said what you said, that it was a DJ with the ear, headphones cupped, and also just mimicking a DJ. And it's because of Burleson being a college rapper, which is really funny that we're also talking about him being a college rapper.
Right.
But he said, definitely not a political statement. That is off base, said Matt Carpenter. But here's the thing, is even with that statement, the damage is already done in this day and age of social media, right? Because once you put something out there as fact and you don't retract it, or even if you do retract it, but then it's hours later, the damage is already done, because that tweet, whatever you put that on social media, has already had probably millions of impressions, because it's like it's spread like wildfire. And even with the clarification, there's some people who are still not accepting it as Matt Carpenter, what he said is true.
Well, they never will. That's part of the society that we live in now is, no, I believe what I believe, and you're not going to change my mind despite the facts that you may or may not have.
I don't get it. I don't get it.
Some people just want to believe what they want to believe. That's fine. It's America. They can do whatever they want. By the way, bad news for Atlanta in that game. Ozzie Albies is going to miss a couple of months. Michael Ciani ran into him in the top of the 9th inning, and Albies suffered a fractured hand. A team that's already missing Ronald Acuna and Spencer Strider and some other non-season-ending injuries, but this one should take out Albies until at least mid-September, if not the playoffs. So that's bad news for Atlanta. St. Louis City SC with a draw on the pitch in Kansas, a 1-1 draw, and we get a point. We get a point.
Nice.
Yeah, go SC. So they go into the League's Cup break, 10 points back in the 9th spot in the West with 9 games left to play when MLS play resumes in August. City faces off against FC Dallas in the group stage of the League's Cup this weekend, and then they'll take on Juarez from Mexico a week later. Juarez.
Juarez.
Yeah.
That's good. I can't.
And congratulations to Xander Schauffle. He wins the Open, his second major of the year, and what a dominant performance he turned in on Saturday and Sunday. And the Olympics are going to be great with Scheffler and Schauffle for the USA. The Olympics are going to be a lot of fun. I'm guessing that those two will just stay in Europe and head over to Paris to get ready for the Olympics.
That makes a lot of sense. The Americans, they were able to sweep the 4 majors for the first time since 1982. So that is a lot of excitement going to the Olympics.
Pretty cool. And congratulations to, is it Xander or Xander?
Xander.
Okay.
But I understand the confusion there because I feel like it should be Xander.
Well, and Xavier Scruggs is Xavier Scruggs.
Oh.
So pronunciation different.
It's up to the parents at that point, right?
Yeah, but I'm guessing that both of them have the nickname X. I'm guessing that all their friends call him X.
And then you can be called the X Factor. There's a lot of great nicknames that can come from that.
Good idea, Brooke. I like that. So we're off and running on this Monday edition of the Opening Drive on 101 ESPN. Brooke, Matthew, and Randy coming up. 3 things we love from the weekend here on 101 ESPN.
This weekend, the Red Sox and Yankees play on ESPN. Saturday, Game 1. Coverage starts at 6:15. Sunday, Game 2. Coverage starts at 6:10. Your home for the MLB is 101 ESPN.
Experience the thrill of the World of Outlaws Ironman 55. Tickets are on sale now.
Hey, business owners and people that run businesses, you always want to have more customers. You always want to engage potential new customers. And the best way to do that these days is on social media. That's why you need to get in touch with 2060 Digital right here in our building. It's a Hubbard company. And what 2060 Digital does is works with you to improve your social media presence, to improve your website, and to help people that are searching for you find you. The folks over at 2060 Digital have been part of our company for a long time, and Hubbard's been around for more than 100 years. Well, 2060 specializes in simplifying the complexities of digital marketing, whether it is utilizing social media to get people to come to your business. They'll tell you when to post, what pictures to post. 2060 will work with you to maximize your website, and they know the algorithms to make sure that you are on the front page of search engines. So when you need customers, and we all need customers all the time, get in touch with 2060 Digital. Visit 101ESPN.com/2060 Digital to request a complimentary digital audit today. Time for three things we loved about the weekend here on 101 ESPN. Brooke and Randy and Matthew with you. And
Number 3.
here we go. Number 3, Brooke.
Number 3 for me is going to sound kind of lame, Randy, but
good.
this is adulthood to me, is that you get excited about little things, including new cleaning tools for your house. So we got a steam cleaner for our house, and David and I just went to town on it, on really cleaning up different areas in our house that we thought were really clean, which we are very clean people. Let me go ahead and say that. We're very clean people. But have you seen these steamers for the house? Have you used one of those before?
Yes.
It's exciting.
They're a difference maker, aren't they?
They really are. So it felt like you all of a sudden could see all these new colors on the wall, different things like that. Things that you thought were maybe supposed to be cream are now a lot wider in the house. So it was just really exciting. It sounds lame, but that's just that was one of my favorite things from the weekend, is that we got to use our new steam cleaner.
Pretty awesome. Pretty good. Brooke, number 3 for me is, and I never thought I would say this as one of the 3 things I loved about the weekend, watching the WNBA All-Star Game. It was so much fun, so competitive, and to see the kids, Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark, do what they did, and Ogunleye, is that right? The Dallas Wings,
Yeah.
got it right? She scored 34 points in the second half. That's the second most points in a half in any WNBA game. Regular season, playoffs, all-star game. Second most points ever in one half for a player. And it's just fun basketball to watch. Highly competitive and a lot of fun. Matthew?
Ogunleye would have been the defensive end for the Bears.
Oh, yeah, Wally Ogunleye.
Ogunbowale.
Ogunbowale. There we go, yeah.
Ogunbowale. It's yeah. There's like an extra syllable in there that we skipped over.
Okay, thank you.
It's
Appreciate
really
it.
exciting.
Ogunbowale. That's it.
Ogunbowale. Okay.
There you go. Sounds very similar to me,
Yeah.
Randy.
Enrique's
Yes.
a cooler name. Just call her by her first name. Enrique's a cool name.
Yeah.
But the WNBA has so much excitement around it right now.
does.
I know that there has been a lot of drama, but sometimes bad press is even good press, and there's a lot of people tuning in for the first time. I know that there's been some loyal viewers over the years, but still, now you're having a lot more people pay attention to the WNBA.
And I hope those loyal viewers over the years are willing to and hoping for more people under the umbrella of the WNBA.
WNBA fans, in my experience, watching a lot of my favorite NBA writers start covering the NBA a lot more. It seems like the fans are very receptive for new people to come in and actually watch and pay attention and give them credit, and that's cool.
I think that's one of the things that soccer could probably do better at. It's we have a lot of people on the text line that say you don't talk enough soccer, and then when we do, they say don't talk soccer anymore. So you wonder what they want. But there are novices out there, and if I were a fan of a sport where there were a lot of novices, I would want as many people under the umbrella under the tent as there could possibly be. I want people to jump on the bandwagon.
Exactly. A lot more viewers.
Yep.
Number 2.
Well, City SC getting their reinforcements coming in, Randy and Rocky. I know that you're probably excited about this as well. Marcel Hartle has arrived in St. Louis. I don't know if you guys saw that yesterday. There was actually some fans that went over and greeted him, which I thought was fantastic. City SC fans always show up and they show support, and they did that with Hartle arriving yesterday. And he really should be a game changer for City. What he's able to do, I mean, another playmaker who is capable of complementing Leuven. And Hartle, he recorded 17 goals and 13 assists to help FC St. Pauli. That's correct, right? St. Pauli to the promotion to Bundesliga for the first time since 2010-2011. So we're very excited to have Marcel Hartle here.
And right next to St. Pauli is Minneapolis-y.
I should have known that you were about to say something. I could see the wheels turning, Randy.
No, it's great to have Hartle here, and SC needs all the reinforcements they can get. As we've learned, they played great last year, but there were a lot of things that went St. Louis City's SC's way, and they needed and need talent upgrades, and he'll definitely add to the mix.
Exactly.
So they need him. Brooke, my number 2 is, and I didn't talk about this last week, but it needs to be discussed. Have you had Wagyu beef?
Yes.
Wagyu steak is unbelievable and life-changing. So, and I don't.
Oh, you had it again this weekend, huh?
But I don't think I mentioned it on the air last week.
I think you did. Yeah.
It's on the Traeger. Was absolutely delicious. So just if you want that once a year special item, go with the Wagyu beef. And I know that we're all going to Schnucks and getting our ribeye, and it's delicious and everything. But If you want to, if you're having a birthday, anniversary meal, something like that, and you're a beef eater, go with the Wagyu beef. It's important.
And it really doesn't need much seasoning, wouldn't
No,
you say?
it doesn't. It's
Do you
delicious.
put anything,
And it's tender.
salt?
I did put the secret seasoning from our friends at Smokehouse on it, but it's great. So
Wagyu is delicious.
it is fantastic.
And if it's done right, then it should be melting in your mouth.
By the way, what's the proper pronunciation in your opinion?
What you just said. Yeah, Wagyu.
Okay, good. Wagyu or Wagyu?
Wagyu.
Okay, cool. Good. All right, we are ready for number 1.
Number 1 for me is just watching Alec Burleson continue what he did. Now, I know that we're just at the beginning of the second half of the season, but Alec Burleson was one of the big stories from the first half of the season with the Cardinals. Were you expecting Alec Burleson to really break through in the way that he has?
No, I didn't expect him to be an everyday player.
No, I didn't either. I feel like that wasn't even part of the conversation, but because of a lot of injuries, it really opened up the door for Alec Burleson. And to the Cardinals' credit and Oli Marmol's credit, they have been very bullish on Alec Burleson over the years, and now we're starting to see why, because he's provided a lot to this offense, especially in the first half of the season where Goldie and Arenado were not producing in the way that you are used to with them. Alec Burleson has literally stepped up to the plate, and he's just a fun and exciting player to watch. We were talking about earlier about the biscuit stuff, and he's a fun guy, you can tell, in that clubhouse. All the guys, you can tell, really admire him and have fun around him, which is needed in there too, but then he's also producing.
I was going to say, Brooke, most of the good teams the Cardinals have had youthful, fun energy, and he definitely provides that. All the Whitey teams, they always had a rookie with youthful, fun energy, and you go back, I know that you're a big fan of the Memphis Mafia, and you look at the bullpen that the Cardinals had in 2006. Most of the really good teams they've had and the World Championship teams that they've had have had fun, youthful energy, and nobody personifies that more. Well, the Cardinals have a couple of guys in Newt Barr and Burleson that provide that energy.
A lot of fun energy, which is what you need, like you said. You need that fun energy, and he's producing. It's just been a lot of fun to watch with him.
And my number 1, Brooke, we have one of the real hidden gems in America here in the St. Louis area with the Katy Trail. And I don't use it enough, but I used it yesterday. I went out for a long ride on the Katy Trail, and it's a great walking trail and bicycling trail. So don't think it's just for bicyclists. But, man, it's fantastic, and it's very well maintained by the state of Missouri. The weather over the weekend was spectacular. I think when I went yesterday, it was like 75 degrees in the morning.
It felt like fall.
It did. We can't afford to. We won't be able to afford to live here anymore soon. We're going to be the new San Diego. It's
because of the weather.
Yeah. Yeah, we are.
You know, same beaches, everything like that.
Alton.
Yeah.
Alton is going to be our beach.
Well, and then finally, when we do get a beach, or we add another beach, because if we're going to be the new San Diego, I'm assuming you're saying we're bringing in a beach, then we can't have the players use the excuse of, oh, well, they want to be near a beach, like in California.
No, that one, we've got
Gone.
that here. We've got everything.
Yeah.
By the way, I think the zoo in San Diego costs like $85. If I'm not mistaken to get into.
Does it really?
Maybe 65, I don't know. But it's expensive, I know that. So now we've got everything. And we've got the Katy Trail. So if you have never been on the Katy Trail, or if you haven't utilized it in a while, and you just want to get some good exercise, whether with a walk or a bike ride, it's the first time I've ridden the Katy Trail this year, and I'm glad that I got back out there yesterday.
I love the Katy Trail.
It's awesome.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's absolutely beautiful. And you're right. This weekend, it was just so nice. It felt like fall. I don't know. We're second alert weather, so it takes us a little bit of time to get to the weather report.
Yeah.
Usually, we can't look too far ahead, but I'm sure it's going to heat back up.
Yeah. So, by the way, right now,
We are limited to our phones, basically.
Second alert weather here in St. Louis. It's 68 degrees as we speak. But this week, Brooke, we have sun throughout, not a cloud in the sky, highs of 85, 87, 90 degrees on Wednesday, then 88, 87. But, man, if you get out, especially afternoon, evening, it's going to be absolutely fantastic.
Oh, it's beautiful. You're right. My phone. We are limited to our phones. We try our best, but that's why we are second alert
That's why
weather.
we're second alert.
We'll get it to you eventually? Question mark? That's our motto.
Right. Yeah. But we're as effective as any other alert.
I feel like we are.
Yeah.
When there's rain, we're talking about it. So
Yeah, right. And then we'll do traffic, too.
We are the weather rock of stations.
We are.
Did you guys ever make a weather rock when you were growing up?
Oh, yeah.
Hey, you make a weather. Yeah, you make a rock, and it perfectly tells you the weather, because if it's moving in the wind is blowing. If the rock is wet, it's raining. If the rock is has snow on it, well, it snowed. It's a really useful tool.
if the rock is in the air, then there's a tornado.
Exactly. Yes. So we are the weather rock of stations.
Coming Coming up here on 101 ESPN, the trade deadline in Major League Baseball is 1 week from tomorrow. What's the most important thing John Mozeliak can do? That's next on 101 ESPN.
Hey everyone, it's Brooke here. Is credit card debt creating a lot of stress in your life? Well, you should call my friends over at Golden Oak Lending. They can help with Smart Cash, which is low interest money. Let me tell you about a story that they told me recently. Amy and her husband, they just had their fourth child and they needed to finish their basement because, of course, they needed some more space. And they put most of it on their credit card, about $20,000. But they were still paying double-digit credit card interest. They did their best paying $900 every single month, but it was just really overwhelming for them and their family. Her dad suggested that she call Golden Oak Lending to see if her home had increased in value. That way she could use that extra equity to pay off credit cards. And sure enough, even though they had refinanced before, their home had increased in value. Golden Oak got them their $20,000 in cash. She paid off their credit cards, and Amy is thrilled to not have that monthly payment just hanging over her head. Many people like Amy don't realize how easy it is to use their home's equity to get smart cash. If you need cash, just call my friends over at Golden Oak Lending. They make it so easy. They do all the work for you, and it won't cost you a penny out of pocket. So give them a call today at 314-567-GOLD now to get started, or go to goldenoaklending.com and see all the reviews for yourself.
This is Rocky with your Sports Center update, driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. The Cardinals take 2 of 3 from the Braves over the weekend, including a 6-2 win on Sunday. They will be back in action tonight as they start a 3-game series facing off against the Pirates. It'll be a 5:40 first pitch for the Cardinals. Also over the weekend, St. Louis City SC back in action for their final MLS game before the League's Cup break, and they walk away with a point in a 1-1 draw against Sporting Kansas City. That is your Sports Center update, driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. See them at londoff.com. Chevy, together we drive. Are you kidding me?
Major League Baseball's trade deadline is 1 week from today, and the Cardinals and even John Mozeliak have identified what the needs are for them as they approach the trade deadline. It's either starting pitching, relief pitching, and or a right-handed bat. And when I look at this club, Brooke, and I've said it since last offseason, after they had signed the 3 starting pitchers, I thought they still needed to get starting pitcher. And the Cardinals right now rank 21st in starters ERA in Major League Baseball. Of the 30 teams, they're 21st with an earned run average of 4.42. I know that the bullpen is gassed, and I know Andrew Kittredge probably has pitched, well, he certainly has pitched more than he has in the last 2 years combined, and probably is feeling some ouchies, as it were. But I see a guy like Graceffo come up. I saw a guy like Kloffenstein come up and do well. I believe that Riley O'Brien will be effective for the Cardinals when he bounces back. And I don't think that the Cardinals are going to get a right-handed hitter that plays the outfield that's any better of a hitter than what they have from the left side. You are going to play any right-handed hitter you get rather than Newt Barr or certainly Burleson. So that means Ciani would be the odd man out. Are you going to get a representative defensive outfielder that hits right-handed that is going to do better for you than Michael Ciani does? And by the way, Ciani is hitting .291 in the last 30 days overall, and he plays every day. I don't think so. Tommy Edman, and he had another setback and is going to play again presumably tomorrow, but he had another ankle issue, so he might be a guy. But Brooke, I'm going back to the same thing I said last December. I think the Cardinals need another starting pitcher. I think if I were to pick one element that Mo and Gersh and Randy Flores and the gang need to get by the trade deadline next week, it's a starting pitcher.
I'm with you 100%. And that's what I've been saying, is that you need another frontline starter. I know that there's a lot of competition out there. We heard John Mozeliak mention that there will be a lot of competition. I believe as of right now, there's still 22 teams who are within a playoff spot, and when you're talking about competition. So there is a lot of competition out there, but I feel like they just need another starter. And that's not to take away with what the staff has been able to do in the first half of the season. They deserve a lot of credit. I don't think anybody, including myself, I'll go ahead and call myself out on it, I wasn't expecting the starter rotation to be able to hold up the way that they have, but there is a big question if they will be able to sustain it. Are you comfortable with the starting rotation right now? Yes, but you need another frontline starter. You need a number 2, because once again, Sonny Gray, he'll be your game 1 starter in the playoffs. Who is the number 2 that you're going to?
It would be Gibson. But how is Sonny Gray trending right now?
Well, we saw the other day it was not great.
No, and I don't know if that's what he's been over the course of the last month or so is what he's going to be, or is he going to return to form? But he certainly has not had a great run lately. So for me, right now, if the playoffs started today and they don't, Gibson might be my number 1 guy. He might be my game 1 guy. And then Gray in game 2. But Michaelis with another quality start yesterday. I think that's 10 of 14 quality starts for Miles Michaelis. He's done an admirable job. He's not an ace, but he's a guy that gives you a quality start.
And he uses the defense behind him, which is what you saw.
Yeah. So you've got some guys there, but I always go back to this. When you have to go against the Phillies, who have the best record, and ultimately that's where you're going to have to go through to get to the World Series. You're going to have to go through Philadelphia. Are you going to be able to beat not only Wheeler and Nola, but Suarez and Sanchez? Probably nobody is, but at least give yourself an opportunity to have a game that is 3-2, 2-1, 2-2, whatever. After 6 innings, give yourself a chance to win and let your bullpen take over.
To your point, too, and you mentioned this, the Cardinals had a 5.48 ERA with their starting rotation over the final 25 games going into the All-Star break.
Yeah.
So that's where I think that you're starting to see that wear and tear. I think importance-wise, and this is just my checklist, starting pitcher and another bullpen arm.
Agreed.
And then if you somehow could get another right-handed bat, that'd be great. But when you're talking about there's not many pitchers available, there's not many right-handed bats available,
there
too,
really
that would
aren't.
fit into that situation. We get this question from the 314. We all know that they need more pitching for a chance to go deep into the playoffs, but what has history shown us? The Cardinals never go out and spend the money for that top guy.
Well, it's not a money issue at this stage. It's a prospect issue. Are you willing, as a ball club and as an organization, to part with some of your young talent? Because the Cardinals do have a lot of enviable talent around Major League Baseball. Those young pitchers and young players are still highly regarded. So at this stage, it's not a matter of money. There's 2 parts of it. Number one, is that pitcher even available? And number 2, are you willing to part with the young players, young talent to get said pitcher? I wonder, Brooke, and we won't know until next week, but John Mozeliak said last week, and we're going to talk about this later, that he doesn't plan to re-up after his contract finishes after next year. Mm-hmm. How competitive is he? Does he want to get one more under his belt, or at least take one more great shot before his time as a Pobo is up?
I would hope so, because he also was a part of signing Oli Marmol to that extension going into the season. So if you sign Oli Marmol to that extension, because remember, they waited basically the entire offseason going to spring training, and they were fine with Oli Marmol going into his final year. Then they decided towards the end of spring training that they were going to sign Oli Marmol to a contract extension. So if you do that, I would assume that John Mozeliak is saying, yes, we still want to stay competitive. And then the season did not get off to a great start, but the way that this team has clawed back into contention and the way that they have powered through, especially if you can get Goldie and Arenado really going, then we're really talking about a team that could do maybe a little bit more damage that we've seen in the past, where they could win their first playoff series since 2019. But I feel like you need to maybe think outside the box. Is that the best way to put it?
Yes.
Where it's not the normal stuff, to that texter's point. It's not the normal stuff that you've seen in recent trade deadline pass.
No, the Cardinals are going to have to change their stripes. By the way, you mentioned, you sent last night a story that the Reds are basically going to sell at this point. After getting swept by the Nationals over the weekend, they're apparently willing to part with some of their pitchers. And they have a lot of guys that are similar to what, at least the people that they would be willing to trade, because they aren't going to trade an Ashcraft or a Hunter Green. They're willing to trade Frankie Montas and some of their potential
Expiring
free agents.
contracts, yeah.
I don't know that the Cardinals, if that's what the Cardinals need. I think they need something a little bit more substantial than that.
It would be nice if they wanted to trade Hunter Green.
Yeah.
It would be fantastic.
Yeah, I'd take him on our side.
But there is a lot more reports, too, that you saw pick up over the weekend that the Cardinals might be interested in Eric Fetty, who I brought up with the White Sox organization. Of course, everybody wants Crochet, but the Dodgers also need pitching. I think we all know that Crochet is going to go to the Dodgers, right?
I don't know, because here's the thing with L.A. They have a very good system, but if they get Crochet, because next year, not that he wouldn't fit into their rotation, but they're going to have to cull the herd, the Dodgers are, because right now, next year, they're looking at Ohtani, Yamamoto, Buehler, Gonsolin, Bobby Miller, Emmett Sheehan, Gavin Stone, the guys that are pitching for him now. They've got like 8 guys next year ready to go. So that'd be great if they. And I'm not even counting. I don't think that Kershaw will be back, and Dustin May's out for the year. But I wonder how much the Dodgers will give up to get a starting pitcher with control. I wonder if they might be more inclined to go for one of those guys, because what they need is innings, because they're going to have Yamamoto and Kershaw for the postseason, and maybe Buehler. They need the kind of guy that Cincinnati is willing to give up, a Frankie Montas kind of a pitcher, or a Fetty. I don't know that they'll want to spend what it takes to get a guy like Crochet, who's great. The other thing about Crochet, Dodgers already have a bunch of guys that aren't going to be able to pitch in the postseason. And apparently,
they need help now.
Yeah, from an innings perspective, he's going to be in uncharted territory when the playoffs arrive in terms of the innings load that he's carried this year.
I've seen that there's reports that maybe you kind of have him start in the bullpen for a little bit or be in the bullpen for a little bit and then ramp him back up towards the end of September or in September to get him ready for the postseason. But that's a good point. It's just the Dodgers always feel like they're in a league of their own where they get every single player that you would want at the trade deadline and more.
And everybody they want, right?
Exactly.
And
That's what they do in the offseason and trade deadline.
It's going out and getting a guy like Glass now and, making the deals that they've made. They're pretty incredible. That's Brooke. I'm Randy. Coming up, and by the way, we want your mic drops later on in the show. Want to ask you the same question. Okay, what's the most important element the Cardinals need to address for the trade deadline 1 week from tomorrow? Starting pitcher, relief pitcher, right-handed bat. We want to hear from you on the mic drop with the 101 ESPN app, and we'll play you later in the show. Coming up, though, we've got Take It or Leave It. Get your text into the Air Comfort Service text line, 314-399-9646, 314-399. Yo-ho! Tioli next on 101 ESPN.
Take it or leave it.
Want to say something? Want to put it out there? If you like it, you can take it. If you don't, send it right back.
Get your text into 314-399-9646 and give us your take it or leave it.
Brought to you by Gloria Lou Realty. Visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com and start packing.
That's my final offer. Take it or leave it.
We do welcome your text to the Air Comfort Service text line 314-399-9646, 314-399-YO-HO. It is time for Take It or Leave It. And Brooke, the Cardinals just took 2 of 3 from Atlanta over the weekend. The Braves lost both Max Fried and Ozzie Albies for a time. They're already missing Ronald Acuna Jr. and Spencer Strider. Take it or leave it. At some point during the second half, the Cardinals catch the Atlanta Braves in the standings.
Ooh.
Right now, they're 4 behind.
Okay. I'll take it just for the amount of injuries that you're dealing with currently right now with the Braves.
Yeah,
with Fried, that does not sound good. He described it as a burning sensation. So when you hear that, what is your first thought?
It sounds like it sounds like surgery is on the way.
That's So, surgery is upon us.
Yeah. So I'm with you. And they've got, we know the Cardinals have the 4th toughest schedule. The Braves have a difficult schedule coming up too. And I could see the Cardinals going on a little bit of a run. I think the Cardinals, it's all relative, 4th toughest schedule. I mean, you're playing a lot of games in your division. And the Cardinals should handle Pittsburgh. I hope Cincinnati sells. The Cardinals have games against them. Cardinals need to play better against the Brewers, who are 6-1 against the Cardinals and have outscored the Cardinals 42-16. However, I could see the Cardinals going on a run. I think I picked them to win 92 games, didn't I?
You did.
At some point, I think that I know that I could see the Cardinals catching Atlanta.
Did you see Craig Counsell this weekend and how upset he got with the question? With Jesse Rogers, who we've had on our show, by the way. I was not expecting the Cubs and Reds to really turn out this way. And I know the season's not done, but things are obviously not great for them.
And I think Counsell, in a private moment, probably would agree. What Jesse Rogers said was Christopher Morel was trying to hit, he was swinging for the lake. Right? And Craig Counsell said that's a bad take. Well, Morel was. If you go back and look at the highlight, he was swinging as hard as he could on a 2-strike pitch. And I'm sure that Counsell, I would hope that Counsell was just protecting his player, but it wasn't a good baseball play. And that's one of the reasons that I really appreciate people like Wynn, Burleson, Donovan. The Cardinals' young players, they get into a 2-strike situation, and they actually have a plan, and I'm not including Nolan Gorman in this, but they appear to have a plan where they just want to get the bat on the ball and get the ball in play.
Why is the plan different for Gorman?
I don't know. He might have... He might be getting a different thought process and approach from somebody. Or he might just look at himself as a power hitter and that's it.
Yeah, which is something that you're seeing with a lot of players now. All right, take it or leave it. Alec Burleson will finish with the team lead in home runs this season.
Brooke, I'm going to take that. I don't think that Arenado and Goldie, although I do have Arenado as my second half MVP, I don't think that he catches Burleson in the home run department. And I think Burley's in a great position in the lineup where he's going to see a lot of pitches. And I really believe that Gorman is the only guy now. Goldie's got 14, so
he's
maybe
tied
Goldie
with
goes
Gorman.
Yeah,
currently
for the team lead. I think Burleson winds up being the leader.
I can see it.
Yeah, me too.
Biscuits, more biscuits.
We are more biscuits.
Okay, take it or leave it. Another one. We've seen in the past where sometimes Schnucks gets involved and other companies get involved with players and their different food ventures. We need to have Biscuit Burleson, where he has his own biscuit line.
Well, we know the Schnucks people are listening now. There has to be an Alec Burleson biscuit over at the Schnucks Bakery, no doubt about it. Yeah, there's no doubt about it.
So
Schnucks
good.
people, you heard us. So we'll be talking about that on the air. By the way, the Cardinals, 4 home runs yesterday?
Yes.
If you have the Schnucks Rewards app, today is a donut, Dingers for Donuts Day with the Schnucks Rewards app, so you can go get a free donut at Schnucks this morning.
I love donuts.
I do too, as long as they last. Over and Schnucks, that's the best bakery in town, and they have the best donuts. Matthew, what do we got on the text line?
Take it or leave it. You're not very confident the United States men's national team can cover the spread in today's game against Germany.
What's the line?
I haven't been able to find it, honestly.
Okay, I'm confident that they will. I'm confident that after getting a scare from South Sudan, as opposed to North Sudan, and they're tough too. They've got either way, you've got your hands full. Yeah, but
Just making up countries.
No. I'm not 100% sure. I do not think North Sudan is a country. I don't think so, but I'm not up on my African geography personally.
Dirk isn't playing for Germany, is he?
No.
Okay, so I'm going to go with the USA to cover whatever the line might be.
USA. It did get a little bit too close for comfort. I was watching the Cardinals game and I was like, okay, maybe I'll go on social media and check on the men's. Oh my gosh, what is happening here?
Were we down by 16 in the first half?
And that's what I was checking in. I was like, what is going on here? Did somebody get hurt?
Yeah, not great.
They just kept it a little bit too close for comfort.
Thank you, LeBron. 39-year-old LeBron James, still the best player in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Let's calm down there.
He is
Best American player in the world.
Well, he's going to be the best player on the best team, is he not?
That's fair.
In the Olympics, where all the best players are supposed to be.
Check them MVPs. Take it or leave it.
He's got 4, I think.
Oh, not recently. Take it or leave it. The Cardinals. He only won one of those right before he got traded.
Yeah. Take it or leave it. In LeBron's 20 years, he should have won at least 12 MVPs.
At least 12?
Yeah. No, there was definitely MVP fatigue. Yeah, he's maybe one of the best examples of MVP fatigue in sports history. Yeah. Take it or leave it. The Cardinals get a 10-game win streak during the second half.
I'm going to take that. I'm going to find it for you. 10-game. Hey, they won a few years ago. How many did they win in a row? 17?
Yeah.
Oh, that was incredible.
While you're looking for that, let's get another Cardinals one in here. Take it or leave it. The Cardinals are the 2023 Marlins, a winning record, especially in tight games, a negative run differential, and a follow-up season that crashes back to earth because the luck of their previous season ran dry.
Oh, yeah, I'll take that. That's fine.
Yeah, I think with those descriptions, I think that's very fair. Hopefully that doesn't mean we'll also get the follow-up year.
Yeah.
That's what they're saying, is that you get the follow-up year in the same way.
The follow-up year was, that's been rough for the Marlins. I really feel bad for Skip, by the way.
Too. Yeah. I wonder if he's going to have a managerial job next year.
And John Jay is
John Mabry. On that staff.
Take it or leave it. After this weekend with the WNBA All-Star Game, you're not very confident about either of the national teams winning at the Olympics.
Oh.
That's true, because it was the WNBA's format was the Olympic team versus the WNBA team, and the WNBA team balled out in the second half against the Olympic team and crushed them.
I think that's the second best team in the world, though.
It was just a warm-up.
Yeah, probably.
Just a warm-up.
Yeah, it is. I think you could send that group, the group with Clark and Reese and AO and is it AO?
Yeah.
I think you could send that group to the Olympics and they'd still win the gold. By the way, here's your 10-game winning streak. It's in September. 3 against the Reds, 3 against the Blue Jays, 4 against the Buccos. The Blue Jays are the only road game. So 3 against the Reds here, 3 at Toronto, and then 4 against the Pirates. Bing, bang, boom. There's 10 in a row for you. You're welcome.
Mark it on your calendars.
Yeah. Buy tickets available at Cardinals.com.
Take it or leave it. With as surprising as the Cardinals have been since Mother's Day, it is imaginable that even with no improvement at the deadline, that they could still be a playoff series winner.
So if the playoffs started today, I think they would play Atlanta.
But that also, I mean, the playoffs started today, my answer would be yes, because I believe the bullpen would still have arms that could throw.
Here's the thing. Anything can happen in a best of 3.
By October?
Mm-hmm.
Anything can happen. So they could be a playoff series. Sure, you could see it. I mean, could you see Sonny Gray?
Especially if you have these injuries that are still currently happening to the Braves.
Yeah, against any team. I could see Gray and Gibson both having great outings and the bullpen being shut down, and then
Michael Ciani doing some amazing things.
Devil Magic. Absolutely, you could see it happening.
With just the reinforcements being from Memphis, you're confident that the bullpen wouldn't crack by October?
I could see that happening.
That'd be my one issue with them not making a move at the deadline. Would just be just the next 2 months are just going to wear down, which is, as Marmol said and as Brooke pointed out earlier, that's the strength of your team right now.
It is.
And that's the most volatile part of your team at the same time.
You have moved Ryan Fernandez into a leverage situation. I wonder if he's kind of replaced Kittredge as a leverage guy. But there are some people there that, and some people down at AAA and some people that are injured that can provide you an inning here, an inning there. What you have to do is you have to protect the big three. And let's just assume right now that the big three are Romero, Fernandez, and Helsley. The Cardinals need to make sure that those guys are good to go for September. And that's why, I'm sure that's one of the reasons that you didn't see Kittredge on Saturday, because I think they want to try to get him back. But Kyle Leahy gave the Cardinals some good work on Saturday in that game. We remember the inning that Kloffenstein came up and threw? He was fine. Hopefully Liberatore will be a guy that you can count on in a leverage situations. He has virtually no miles on him this year. Maybe, this is a big maybe, you get Steven Matz back for September and he's able to come out of the bullpen for you.
Graceffo.
Yep, he pitched well as a starter. So there are some guys, and then Riley O'Brien. There are some guys down there, and maybe even Zach Thompson in September. You give him some looks as a lefty reliever. I think there are people that aren't going to be main guys, but give you an inning here, give you an inning there to help out down the stretch. And by the way, I think it's probably a moot point because I would be very surprised if the Cardinals don't go get a relief pitcher by Tuesday, next Tuesday.
Add some sort of pitcher. I feel like they have to at the trade deadline. By the way, O'Brien this weekend, he was in Memphis. He picked up a save. His fastball sat between 95 and 97. He did walk 2, so that's something to watch for. So it was a little shaky, but still, Riley O'Brien seems to be starting out well.
Riley O'Brien.
Yes. Riley, the Irishman.
Riley.
You have to have at least one Irishman on this team.
Well, there's no doubt. You have
had
one.
Jack Flaherty.
Jack Flaherty is gone. You have the coach and Willie McGee. But otherwise, I think...
Why are you laughing, Rocchio? This is...
No
what
reason.
Are you talking about?
No reason.
Do we have another Irishman? Kittredge sounds Irish, isn't Kittredge? Doesn't it?
It does sound Irish.
I don't know if it is, but let's call him that.
I feel like we're missing somebody. There's somebody else that we're missing that's currently on this team. But once you get O'Brien back, you have an Irishman on this team.
Yeah. I don't... well, here, let's see. Let's find us an Irishman.
Yes, because to win the World Series, you need somebody to drive out the pagans. Take it or leave
Brendan
it.
Donovan. Brendan Donovan. Is that Irish or not?
Yes. We'll give it to Brendan Donovan. Jesus, Lord Almighty. Take it or leave it. The Brewers will choke down the stretch like they have done so many times, and the Cardinals take the division.
Ooh.
I'm not going to take it, but I could see it.
That's from Box, by the way. He signed his text Box.
B-O-X?
Yes, exactly.
Kittredge sounds Scottish, also from Box. Very true.
Because you could have it B like Sebastian, B-A-C-H, but he's Bach, not Box. But see, like that's... Hey, who's that piece of paper belong to? It's Box.
Okay.
Sebastian. He's a music guy, Sebastian Bach.
He's a music
guy.
Composer, right?
I call him Johann.
Is
Johann Sebastian, yeah.
Miles
I
Michaelis
call him
Irish?
Jojo.
Michaelis?
I don't know.
No.
Michaelis wouldn't be Irish.
Well, if it had an MC, then we're talking there.
Yeah. Make Michaelis?
Yes. then we're
Tim's
really
ears
talking.
down the hall perked up.
I think we've done a good job. Thank you, Matthew.
I think we've done a good job.
I think we've done
a very
enough
odd
here.
job. We've done enough damage here. Coming up next year on 101 ESPN. Yesterday, Paul Goldschmidt was moved to the 7th spot in the batting order. What does this mean for the future? That's next on 101 ESPN.
Swing and a high fly ball down the left field line. Goldschmidt has gone deep. It's seventh heaven for the Cardinals first baseman. 1-0 Redbirds in the second.
Look at all the smiles in the Cardinals dugout. You don't think they've been pulling for this guy all season long.
Chip Caray and Brad Thompson yesterday on Bally Sports as the Cardinals knocked off the Braves 6-2, and the lineup probably not what we expected to see on July 21st. You had Wynn leading off, followed by Burleson and Contreras. Then Donovan hitting fourth, Nolan Arenado hitting fifth, Nootbaar hitting sixth, and Paul Goldschmidt hitting seventh. Goldie, after yesterday, hitting .225, 287 on base, 372 slug. A bad year. I think we can all classify that as, for Paul Goldschmidt, a bad year. But he did hit a home run. And I even a guy as great as Paul Goldschmidt, who's had all the top 5 finishes in the MVP and one of the top 5 WARs in all of baseball since he entered the game, maybe he's just feeling the pressure of having to produce runs for the Cardinals. And, Brooke, I think if I were the Cardinals, even if he has some good games, because of the success that you're getting with Burleson and Contreras and Donovan as middle of the lineup guys, I have no problem at all if Oli Marmol and the Cardinals decide to keep Goldie down there as long as they possibly can. If he gets hot, don't just move him up because he's Paul Goldschmidt. You've got other guys. We talked before about how the Cardinals appear to have passed the torch from Arenado and Goldie to Burleson and Donovan and Wynn. Make those guys your future and allow them to hit in the middle of the lineup. And if Goldie is a good number 7 hitter, there's nothing wrong with having a good number 7 hitter.
That was the first time that he was number 7 hitter since 2012. Just to show you how long that it's been that Paul Goldschmidt has been in that position. I was shocked to see that Oli actually did that so soon into the second half of the season, because we know that he has struggled so much, but I figured they would let him kind of continue. You had the break. And I'm not saying I'm against the decision. I think that it was a long time coming. But at the same time, were you surprised that Oli did that so quickly? He went hitless, of course, in the doubleheader, and I was surprised to see Oli Marmol make that aggressive move on Sunday. I
was a little bit surprised, but I was down to the ballpark right before the break and talking to people about both Arenado and Goldie, and the general feeling around the ball club is that Arenado was closer to breaking out than Goldie was. This is a season-long thing with Goldschmidt, and I think that they took a look at the doubleheader. You've got some time off, and you're wondering, okay, did something change? Was he able to hit the reset button? Was he able to figure something out during the break? And it didn't look like it on Saturday. So move him down in the lineup, take a little pressure off, and at the same time, reward the people who have been doing really well for you in the first half of the season. And, oh, by the way, you're able to maintain the balance because you went righty, lefty, righty, lefty, righty, lefty, righty, lefty, lefty. The only two back-to-back hitters you had that were hit from the same side of the plate were Gorman and Ciani at the bottom. But you were able to hit Goldschmidt 7th, Arenado 5th, and still maintain balance so that it's harder for an opposing manager to match up with one relief pitcher with the 3-batter minimum.
And I'm sure that was a tough conversation with Oli and Paul Goldschmidt, but according to all the reports and what Goldschmidt even said to the reporters is that he understood the situation and he understands how he's playing this season. And you even saw after the game, I know that he had a solo home run yesterday. He was one of the guys who was able to do that out of the 4 solos. He said, I mean, that was obviously nice to hit a home run, but I also struck out twice and hit into a double play. Obviously, I haven't played well this year, and I'm trying to do everything I can to play better. So when you were talking about the pressure, do you think this has anything to do with him not having a contract past this season?
No, I think it's just the pressure that he applies to himself to be great.
Because he's one of the big money guys, and he knows that if he goes offensively, then it helps this team a lot.
And I don't know this for certain, but I would think, I'm just trying to apply logic here. At the age of 36, your athletic skills decline. And this is why I look big picture here. And this might portend the end of the road for Paul Goldschmidt as a member of the Cardinals, because you don't want to insult him. I guess what the Cardinals have to do is say, do you want to stay? And if so, how much do you want to stay? And here's what we're going to have to do next year, because you just aren't an everyday player anymore. And I think big picture, this could spell the end of Paul Goldschmidt as a member of the Cardinals. If he stays in the 7 hole, how much do you give a guy that's a great guy for your team? Everybody loves him. Like BT said, everybody's been rooting for him all year. But how much do you pay a hitter that is diminishing and is a number 7 hitter only against left-handed pitching?
Do you have Alec Burleson take over first base, or is there somebody else?
I think right now he's got to be the guy, because I don't think I've thought Jordan Walker all along. I don't think there's a guarantee that Jordan Walker's here at the beginning of next year. But with the way things have been going, I mean, he's got to earn it, doesn't he? You can't just let him start next year without having done anything. So, yeah, I think Burleson probably winds up ultimately as the Cardinal first baseman, and he's capable of playing the position. He's pretty good over there. And then you can move people around. There's a lot of things that you can do. What happens with Dylan Carlson? Does Dylan Carlson get traded, or is he a guy? You've got Edman under contract for another year next year. I don't know that I would love an outfield. I know I wouldn't love an outfield of Nootbaar, Edman, and Ciani. I wouldn't want those 3. So I'm going to have to figure something out to fill out my outfield, but that's a long ways away. But to answer your question, yes, I do think that maybe as soon as next year, Alec Burleson is the Cardinals' everyday first baseman.
From the 3 and 4, if he stays for cheap and he still plays a great first base and hit him down in the lineup, I'm signing him back up for another year.
Yeah, and it depends on because you
what
can't
he
give
wants.
you can't give him $26 million again. So you're going to have to come to an agreement where it's worth your while, and he's earning what he is worth at this point. And this is a baseball wide thing. This isn't just a Cardinal thing. But you have to envision the end of the line. He's like Matt Carpenter. The Cardinals aren't paying Matt Carpenter a ton because of what he's done for them in the past. You just can't do that. It's not logical.
So you said that you want to see Paul Goldschmidt stay in the spot right now where he's down in the lineup.
Yeah, I do.
What would you need to see from him? Is it a change in his approach? Is it launch angle? No, I'm kidding. I'm not saying that. Is it production in a certain way or manner? Is there something you need to see from him where you say, okay, you can move him back up, or does he need to stay here for the rest of the season?
No, it's all about production. If he winds up looking like the old Paul Goldschmidt and other guys are fading, you move him up in the lineup. But if you wind up scoring, the Cardinals scored 6 runs yesterday, 60-cent drinks for everybody. If you're averaging 5.5 runs a game with him hitting 7th and the guys in the middle of the lineup, you keep it the way it is. If you're struggling a little bit and he is hitting well, then you make some changes. But I would kind of go with the flow if I were the Cardinals and allow these young guys to hopefully grow in the middle of the lineup. How about you?
Oh, yeah. I think we can all agree it was the right decision to make. I was just very surprised that Oli made that decision so quickly into the second half of the season. I understood the respect factor of it, but I think it also shows the respect still goes on even in the situation, because that's a tough decision. That's a veteran guy who, of course, has a great resume, but he's just not produced this season.
And Oli said earlier in the season, the Cardinals aren't going to be able to make it happen if Arenado and Goldschmidt aren't performing at a high level. I kind of think they might be able to. Because of the emergence of Burleson, of the continued success of Contreras, the emergence of Donovan, and Nootbaar seems to be on the right track too. So hopefully the Cardinals can keep those guys healthy and hitting. That's Brooke, I'm Randy, and that's today's Fresh Take. Coming up next, we're going to talk to the voice of the Blues, Chris Kerber, here on 101 ESPN.
If you have an IRS problem, getting accurate legal advice could help get this all behind you right now. Hi, I'm local attorney Lance Drury with the Drury Law Firm. The IRS made new changes that make it easier to settle your IRS debt for a reduced amount. Not all our clients qualify, but under the IRS's new Fresh Start program, you may be able to resolve your IRS problems quickly and for less money. But don't wait. An IRS problem is a legal problem. You need someone who understands both the IRS and the law. Don't trust your tax problems to some TV TV personality. The Drury Law Firm has handled thousands of IRS cases over the last 15 years, and your first visit is completely free and confidential. And I'll tell you on the spot exactly how much it will cost. So if you're facing IRS wage levies, bank levies, or tax liens, call me, Lance Drury, at 314-260-6120, or go to LanceDruryLaw.com. If you have IRS issues, you need a local attorney. You need me, Lance Drury.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Well, it's another Monday morning. Chris Kerber with you here. And you know what it's like when you got to take your car in to get fixed and you're just not sure you trust what's happening to it? Well, that's the same thing when it comes to your air conditioner and your furnace at your house. Well, I'm going to make it easy on you. The folks you can trust are the folks at Classic Air Care. The techs that are coming into work at your house are local people. They are people that live near you. They're in your neighborhood. They care about the neighborhood. They care about the area, and they want to deliver the best product, and that's why they're hired at Classic Air Care. So when they come into your house, whether you hear a sound that you don't like, you want it checked out, maybe it's just to get it cleaned, maybe you need a unit replaced, they're going to tell you exactly what is needed. They're going to tell you exactly what the cost is, and they're going to make sure that you are comfortable and knowledgeable about the whole process. That's the benefit of Classic Air Care. You want to see some of the great reviews that they get? Go online at ClassicAirCare.com, click on the reviews at the top of the page, and you'll see why they have a 4.8 Google rating when it comes to customer reviews. It's Classic Air Care. They will take care of you the way they would take care of their own house. They've been making people comfortable since 1926.
Brooke and Randy, opening drive, 101 ESPN, and we head to the celebrity line. You just heard the voice of the blues, Chris Kerber, here on 101 ESPN. Kerbs, good morning. How you doing?
Randy, awesome today. How are you guys?
Good. How was the trip and the trek home? You've been traveling a lot. How's everything gone?
Yeah, it has been a summer of the windshield with the kids this summer. So it was awesome. Toured some good colleges with Gabby. Obviously, Christy and the kids get some great family time up in Massachusetts with Christy's side of the family, which is important. It's actually one of the things I'm probably most happy about is, when you raise a family kind of away from other parts of their family, they've gotten to actually know her side of the family really well. So that's been a neat thing, and that part of the summer is good. So now we're shifting into high school camps and high school sports times and getting Grace back to college. So you just shift your focus from one week to the next, it seems, around here.
busy, and busy. I'm sure your calendar is just completely full right now, Kerbs.
Well, listen, here's the one. I get asked this a lot last week or so. I've been home. Hey, you getting ready for the start of the new season? I'm like, nope. No.
Just taking it one day at a time.
Excited for the season to start yet? I'm like, hell no. We've got plenty of time. Let's make sure we use it as much as we can.
Well, Kerbs, we talked about this last week. Of course, we always speak to you on Monday, and this news came out on Tuesday about Torrey Krug. It looks like he will miss the rest of the season. They haven't said if he will have surgery or not just yet, but just based on the early reports, you would assume that he'd miss the rest of the season. How huge of a loss is this for the Blues going into the year?
Well, first off, I can't tell you how excited I am to not answer any questions about a contract for Pavel Buchnevich. So let's go backwards, all right? You know what? Well, we're going to see yet. Obviously, the news broke, and they're going to try. They know that if the surgery is necessary, that it is going to take him out for the season. So if that's going to happen, you might as well try this rehab route. And I think it's really important to note, too, that the team and Torrey are on the same page. This isn't like the team saying, well, we think you should get surgery, and Torrey saying, well, I don't want it, and that kind of thing. They're clearly on the same page with the approach here. And for the sake of Torrey, I hope that this plan works. I thought Torrey had a good season last year. I thought he was effective. What it means if he can't play, well, it's just opportunity. And I think it's very clear now why you ended up seeing a couple of the defensive signings that you saw with the Blues, especially the Suter one. Like when they signed Suter, I'm looking at it going, okay, the guy can still obviously play. He averaged 18 minutes a game last year with a good Dallas team, and he played all 82 games. But is this somebody at the Blues? And to me, it felt like, okay, if you're doing this, then you've got something else in the works, whether it be a move possibly or something. And then it was pretty clear after the Torrey Krug announcement what, the insurance of adding Suter could be here. So there's that, and then it's going to be opportunity. And look, I don't know that it goes right to Scott Perunovich, on the power play, which is what a lot of people think. One, that opportunity will be there. But whether that's Falk, whether that's Parayko, it's going to be earned, and it's just a matter of if we see a young guy step up and take advantage of opportunity this time.
Kerbs, you mentioned Torrey Krug's year last year. I think one thing we need to note, and Krug takes a lot of hits because of the contract and because of the production, but arthritis just doesn't happen overnight. He must have been playing at a pretty high level of discomfort last season.
Yeah, and we saw him over the last couple of years miss some games with injuries in that area. And when you talk about this kind of injury, it really is the culmination of a bunch of different injuries, and this one, it really stems back to an injury that he had earlier in his career, and so, look, sometimes in today's age, we've got to evaluate the effectiveness of a player in relationship to a contract, especially in the salary cap era. And 2 seasons ago was no good for Torrey. I thought last year he was fine. I mean, look, he competes, he battles. You know exactly what you're going to get from him, and I'll take that over the inconsistency of others any day of the week. So that you'll lose some of that fight, you lose some of that battle, you lose some of that leadership if he's not available to go. But again, this will just come down to opportunity. And, we saw Jake Neighbors take full advantage of the opportunity last season. We saw Joel Hofer take full advantage of the opportunity. We saw Kessel take full advantage. We also saw guys that did not. And those are the ones, that are going to get another opportunity, especially defensively, whether that be Tyler Tucker or Scott Perunovich to really step up and grab a hold of this.
I think you're right, Kerbs, about especially with the signings, it makes a lot more sense. So how do you kind of see things lining up defensively going to the season? Do you see any more changes coming?
Well, I do. Now, whether those changes come via injury, via waivers, I don't see the healthy. Like, if everybody that they've got now is healthy, you're not carrying everybody. Someone's got to clear waivers at some point in time. So what I do see, Brooke, is competition. And I think going in for a team that the last couple of seasons as a team has struggled defensively, giving up backdoor tap-ins, believe it or not, pretty much at the same rate each of the last 2 seasons, I'm told. Like that's what I see. I see that if this team is going to take another step in the turnaround, it's going to be shoring things up on the back end in their own zone, which requires the work of the forwards too. But that's going to create competition. And right now there's plenty of veteran D-men that are there that are going to look at some young guys going, your time's not yet, you lad, and see what happens.
Hey, Kerbs, I have a question. I don't know if you know the answer to it, but I think it's kind of weird that the Blues open up October 8th, a Tuesday, at 3:30 in the afternoon against Seattle. Do you know why we have a 3:30 start? It'd be 1:30 Seattle time on a Tuesday afternoon, October 8th?
No, I have not looked into the answer to that one yet, though. It's a good question. I have the same one. But having traveled and stuff, I haven't gotten deep into the whys on that.
Yeah, I don't know if October 8th is a holiday. I don't know. It's just kind of.
That is random.
I don't remember the Blues ever starting during the day, even on a weekend. I don't remember the Blues opening with a day game.
No, I don't ever. Well, we haven't opened with a day game since I've been here. It's an interesting schedule as a whole. You know, there's a lot of travel. Well, obviously there's a lot of travel. That goes without saying. I thought last year was one of the best schedules from a travel standpoint I thought the Blues have had, at least in my time with the team, just in terms of the amount of time you're on the road. This season, it looks like some of these road trips are a little spread out with days off in between games, and I'm telling you, that can make the road a lot longer. That can wear on a team. So how they handle that this year is going to be good. They're gone a lot in December. Ken Hitchcock always liked to, especially with a younger team, he liked to be gone throughout the month of December. He thought the holidays were a distraction for a team. I think that's changing. When you've got players, and we've got them young players with babies either on the way or having been born, being away during holiday time is equally stressful. So there are some travel scenarios. I am curious how they'll play out this year.
And by the way, around Christmas, between December 21st and December 26th, the Blues only have one game. That's December 23rd in Detroit. So there's a Christmas present for you.
Yeah, that part's nice. And I'll tell you what, I still get excited to think about that Winter Classic on December 31st in Chicago. And, you know, Rainer, real quick, remember how long it is for people like, oh, man, it's always Chicago that's in those games, or it's always the Rangers or Boston, and fans in St. Louis are like, well, how come it's never here? Man, look back over the last 6 years, you've seen two Winter Classics, an All-Star game, a Stanley Cup final, a run to the conference final, even going back a little bit further in 2016. The league has stepped up and shown the respect that this ownership group has put back on the St. Louis Blues with the quality of the product, what they've done to the building, and all that other stuff. And the idea that the Blues get to play at Wrigley Field now on New Year's Eve still, I think, is fantastic. I love it.
It's really cool. Well, Kerbs, I wanted to ask you, but I'm sure that you've seen this because a lot of people in the NHL are talking about this right now. Barry Trotz, the GM for the Nashville Predators, he was asked about, of course, Tennessee is one of the, tax-free, no income tax states. And so he was asked about if that was advantage for them. And I know that there's a cap space, obviously, in the NHL, but he said there was no question teams in tax-free states have an advantage. Is there anything the NHL can do about that, or is there anything they should do about that?
I don't think there's anything they can do, and I don't think there's anything that they should do. And I believe, you got the 2 cups from Tampa and the 1 cup from Florida, right? So you've got those 3 cups, that are won by teams that are in those situations. But you've had cups won by teams that are not in those situations. And the biggest issue that the league dealt with and still somewhat deals with is the Canadian dollar issue, where teams are making money in the Canadian dollar up there in Canada, but they've got to pay the players and stuff based off the U.S. dollar. I just don't know, Brooke, what the league can do in this. I saw what you're talking about. I've read about it. Yes, there is some advantage, but the reality of it is, take a look at the Florida Panthers. Until the last couple of recent years, the Florida Panthers have never really been a destination, and that's because the team wasn't any good. That team is becoming a popular one. People want to go to it right now, and players want to go to it because they're good. Not so much, and the bonus is the tax thing. There are enough loopholes. There are enough ways for guys to deal with the tax thing. And the reason that I say that I don't see it be that big of an issue, we see plenty of players sign with the LA Kings. That's a high-tax state. We see players sign with the Boston Bruins. That's a high-tax state. You see players sign with the New York Rangers. You see quality players signing big contracts in other cities. So I don't see it as teams having a massive disadvantage. Like, I mean, is there some role in it? Yeah, but teams find a way to get around it. And if the player, and by the way, the last thing about that, take the Vegas Golden Knights, right? Yeah. There's only so much money that they have to give around anyway. So if you're one of those few players that gets the big contract, maybe like an Alex Pietrangelo, and you have that benefit, bully for you. But it's not like they can sign 15, 20 players, to that level. And so I just don't see it as being a big issue.
Kerb's great stuff as always. Thanks so much for the time. We appreciate it, and have a great week. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, you guys have an awesome week.
Thanks.
Talk to you in a bit.
That is the voice of the Blues, Chris Kerber, here on 101 ESPN. Coming up, we need a fighter for the fight. I think I won the fight on Friday, didn't I?
You did.
Okay, good. So I'm glad. I'm assuming I did because I was happy all weekend.
Would you have been just angry all weekend if you hadn't won?
I'm a miserable person to be around if I don't win the fight on Friday.
Just eating ice cream yesterday on National Ice Cream Day, just angry.
A gallon of ice cream. I would have been like White Goodman.
Oh, my God.
In dodgeball, at the end of dodgeball.
I had no doubt in my mind that you won on Friday, but now I'm doubting it.
I think you did.
I did.
Okay, good.
I think I won 3-2, if I'm not mistaken.
Sounds right. Because it was Tom. You faced Tom on Friday. Wasn't it Tom that day?
The good guy? Tom who had a birthday?
No, that was Brian. Brian was birthday.
Okay. I think you actually might have hit the jack because...
that's right.
Looking at the questions,
that's right.
Looking at the questions, I think you hit the jack and won 4-3. That's what it was.
There we go. Okay, that's
just
better.
Another victory.
Sometimes I forget to check.
You can text in now. 314 399 9646 314 399
Yo-ho!
With your name and the word fight if you want to fight me next on 101 ESPN.
This is Rocky with your Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. The Cardinals take 2 of 3 from the Braves over the weekend, including a 6-2 win on Sunday. They will start a 3-game series against the Pirates this evening. A 5:40 first pitch kicks off that series. And over the weekend, St. Louis City SC was in action facing off against Sporting Kansas City in Kansas and in a walkaway with a point as they close out the MLS schedule before the League's Cup break, 10 points back from a wild card spot in the 9 seed. That is your Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, an independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
Welcome back to the opening drive. Brooke, Rockio, and Randy here, and it is time for the fight. And our fighter this Monday is Justin. Justin, how are you doing today?
Not bad. How are you guys?
Oh, we're doing great. Is this your first time facing Randy in the fight?
Yeah, long-time listener, first-time fighter.
Ooh, there you go. Congratulations on being able to finally get in. Are you nervous, excited, scared, happy?
Maybe a little both. Little nervous, little excited.
Well, you'll do great. It's Monday.
Okay, hopefully.
You never know with Randy.
Yeah, you never know.
Never know. All right, you ready for question number 1?
Yeah, shoot.
Okay. Happy birthday to Steven Jackson. Jackson was a dominant player in a downtime for the Rams, which made it even more sad when he finished his career starting one game for which team? Was it the Chiefs, the Patriots, or the Cowboys?
That would be the Patriots.
All right, one of the most important moves in the Cardinals' 2011 championship season was their moves at the deadline. Which bat did they trade to get the pitching trio of Edwin Jackson, Octavio Dotel, and Mark Zepchinski? Was that
Oli
Ryan?
Rasmus.
Nicely done.
All right. Who holds the record for most games played in NFL history for a non-kicker/punter at 335? Is it Bruce Matthews, Jerry Rice, or Tom Brady?
I'm sorry, could you repeat the question?
Who holds the record for most games played in NFL history for a non-kicker/punter at 335? Is it Bruce Matthews, Jerry Rice, or Tom Brady?
I'll go with Jerry Rice.
All right, and which running back is the last rookie to lead the league in rushing? Is that Ezekiel Elliott, Kareem Hunt, or Jonathan Taylor?
I'll go with Elliott.
All right, we'll double-check our score and bring in Randy Carricker.
Justin, how are you feeling?
Okay, except for maybe the last couple.
Yeah, you sailed through the first 2. You definitely knew the answers for those.
I fell off, but okay.
You never know. You never know.
Never know.
Randy is in right now, and he has intro music now.
Oh.
I was like, wait a minute.
So
I kind of like if you have intro music.
Potted up the wrong thing.
Oh, okay. We were, I was in the hallway, and we just got challenged by the Riz Show to pickleball.
Finally! Yes!
You unconscionable fools.
So, yeah, King Scott and I talk every morning out in the hallway.
He plays tennis.
Yeah, he's apparently good. He
says stabbed man. What are they going to do, stab me?
Call an ambulance, but not for me. That's 100% what's going on there. Okay, I am sorry. We have Justin here. Justin, say hi to Randy, and Randy, say hi to Justin.
Good morning, Justin.
Randy.
How you doing?
Hello, how are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for listening. Thanks for playing. We appreciate it.
Oh, yeah, always.
Thank you.
He's a first-time fighter.
Oh, good. Good luck. I hope you have fun. Hope you had fun. But if you play tomorrow, I hope you have fun.
Yeah, I don't know. I think you got me on this one, but we'll see.
We'll see.
You never know. All right, here's question number 1. Happy birthday to Steven Jackson. Jackson was a dominant player in a downtime for the Rams, which made it even more sad when he finished his career starting one game for which team?
He finished his career after going to Atlanta for a season with the New England Patriots of all teams. Yeah. Played for Belichick. I don't see Belichick and SJ39 being copacetic. Although SJ39 very competitive. Man, what an unfortunate career. You know, if he gets drafted by the Steelers, he's a Hall of Famer.
He's been a fascinating follow on Twitter because he goes through and he posts clips of like his big runs and he'll send like these big like 4 or 5 tweet long threads talking about like what was going on that season. And it's depressing but fascinating.
So he won't talk about it, but there was a game against the Redskins here in 2006 where he broke loose, and Sean Taylor, the late Sean Taylor, literally ran away from him. He didn't want anything to do with Steven Jackson.
Yeah, because the only person who could strike fear into Sean Taylor is a 240-pound, 6'3" running back.
Yeah, that ran a 4.5 and was steamrolling and was physical.
Oh my God, that 2006 season is, God dang, I changed the way I looked at running backs.
Yeah.
One of the most important moves in the Cardinals' 2011 championship season was their moves at the deadline, Randy. Which bat did they trade to get the pitching trio of Jackson, Dotel, and Zipchinski?
Colby Rasmus. My dad helped me hit.
Oh my God!
Gotta have my dad on.
I wondered
my
how that
side.
joke was going to come in.
Yeah. So that was. It was Colby to Toronto, I believe, and they wound up getting Scrabble, Dotel, Corey Patterson. Is that right? Is that it? Yeah. So it was fun. Colby. Yeah. That was one where Tony ripped him. And they had no choice but to trade him. I don't think they really wanted to trade him, but once Tony ripped him, he couldn't stay around.
And family members involved.
My dad. Yeah.
a lot of stuff going on.
He wound up having a long career, too. He stuck around with Houston, Baltimore. He's a pretty good guy for Immaculate Grid.
Oh, there you go.
I like how his look really caught up to his accent later on.
Yeah.
Well, now I have to see what he looks like now.
He kind of got like the mullet look, and it got a little scruffier, and he got a little bit grungier, and it matched the accent a little bit more. Than in his early days, he kind of came off kind of like Harrison Bader in a lot of ways.
Right,
it was a long hair, it was flowy, he was the pretty boy, and eventually he kind of aged into the accent a little bit.
I see what you're saying now.
Yes. Same thing happened with
I haven't seen what he looked like in a while, and that's definitely a difference. Anyways, here's question number 3 for you. Who holds the record for most games played in NFL history for a non-kicker/punter at 335?
335 games for a non-kicker or punter?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm thinking I know this. It's like 20 years. It's got to be one of 2 people. I'm guessing that they'll both be on the lifeline, which I'm going to use, by the way. But let's see if both Bruce Matthews and Jackie Slater are on the lifeline here.
Okay. Bruce Matthews, Jerry Rice, or Tom Brady?
Let's not leave Tom Brady out of this mix because he played a long time. And he did miss a season. Bruce Matthews didn't miss games. So Brady, let's see, 01, 23, that's 22 years, and he missed a season, so 163. I'm going to go with Bruce Matthews, Brooke.
Randy, which running back is the last rookie to lead the league in rushing?
Last rookie to lead the league in rushing. I don't know if our guy Todd Gurley did that or not. I don't think he did, but he went one Rookie of the Year. I'm going to go play the chalk here, and I'm going to go with Adrian Peterson.
Okay, we have to go to a tiebreaker. Okay. Kind of surprised by this. Good job, Justin. You forced the tiebreaker. So here's the rules for this. I'm going to read out the question. We're going to let Randy Carricker write down his answer. After Randy Carricker has shown us his answer, Justin, we're going to get your answer audibly. We will then confirm Randy Carricker's answer, and whoever is closest to the pin is walking away as the winner of this fight. Do you understand those rules, Justin?
Yeah, I believe I do.
And Randy Carricker, do you have your paper ready?
I have my paper, and I have my Sharpie.
All right, here we go.
It's not Lindenwood paper, though.
It's not Lindenwood. I get it. Here, let me just circle. Okay.
Sounds like we're working?
That state was hit by the hurricane.
All right, here we go. Oh, my God.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
All right, what's the question?
Holy. The highest scoring game in NFL history is a 1966 matchup between the Redskins and the Giants. How many total points were scored? The highest scoring game in NFL history is a 1966 matchup between the Redskins and the Giants. How many total points were scored?
I'm going to have to go with this number. Hold on, let me add this up.
Oh, sorry, I made you do math. I'm sorry.
Yeah, okay.
I'm mean. Randy has a guess. And Justin, what is your guess, sir?
I'm going to go with 122.
122. Randy Kerber, what is your guess?
I went with 113, Matthew.
Can I ask how you got that?
113?
Yeah. Like, what was the score you played out in your head to get that?
I was thinking like 63 to 50 or something like that.
Okay, well, so 122 from Justin, 113 from Randy Carricker. We have a winner in today's fight. Is it Justin taking down Randy Carricker on a Monday to start the week in a tiebreaker? Or does Megamind march on to start this week with a win? Ring that bell.
The winner and still champion of the fight, Randy Carricker.
The fight is presented by Golf Discount of St. Louis. With the most experienced club fitters in town. Why shop anywhere else?
Justin, I'm very sorry Randy beat you. I'm going to play a different sound effect because I don't have one specifically for this, but I'm going to hit this anyway because...
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy!
Other than the time I put a tiebreaker that had a Bob Gibson number that Randy Carricker knew off the top of his head, I do not believe we've ever had somebody completely hit the nose on a tiebreaker where like the numbers was like larger than 100. Randy Carricker hit the tiebreaker exactly 100% on the nose. It was a 72-41 game, which is 113 points. So I'm sorry, Justin, you might have lost the tiebreaker, but at least you did in an incredible fashion as Megamind somehow dug deep and got 113 points exactly on the nose out of nowhere.
Well, you know what? I feel great about that loss.
There you go. See, it helps. It makes you feel a little bit better. Let's go through the rest of the questions and the answers. Happy birthday to Steven Jackson, a dominant player in a downtime for the Rams, which made it even more sad when he finished his career starting one game, playing two, had like 20 carries for the New England Patriots. One of the most important moves in the Cardinals' 2011 championship was, in fact, that trade of Colby Rasmus to the Toronto Blue Jays, Octavio Dotel, Edwin Jackson, Mark Zipchinski, and Corey Patterson, who wasn't as important as the pitchers, but still he was in the trade. Who holds the record for the most games played in NFL history for a non-kicker/punter at 335. I think we all overthought this one a little bit. It's Tom Brady. Number 2 on the list is Jerry Rice with 303. Brett Favre was at 302. Bruce Matthews is at 296. He is the highest for any offensive lineman. Jerry Rice, the highest for any non-quarterback. There also is a little addendum to that one because if you add in people who did kick and punt but also played a different position, George Blanda did play 340 over Brady, but he also, his last about 8 years of his career, he really was only a kicker, so I'm not counting that one. And the last rookie running back to lead the league in rushing, it was actually one of 2 in a row. In 2016, Ezekiel Elliott, also a birthday boy, did it, but the very next season, Kareem Hunt with the Kansas City Chiefs led the league in rushing, and he's the last rookie since then to lead the league in rushing back in 2017. So that was a 2-2 tie that took us to the tiebreaker, and again, the highest scoring game in NFL history, 113 points, 72-41 between the Redskins and the Giants. Thank you so much, Justin, for joining the fight and joining the show today.
All right. Thank you, guys. Had a good time.
Thank you, Justin.
Appreciate it. Thank you again for listening. Coming up, there's a cool event happening here in St. Louis this week. It's Beep Ball, and we're going to tell you about it next time, 101 ESPN. It is a beautiful day to have lunch out on the deck at the Fenton Bar and Grill. Their patio is the best patio in town, and when you walk into Fenton Bar and Grill, you're going to smell those fabulous trash wings, the best trash wings in town, and you got to order those first. Those are the first thing you need to have when you head to the Fenton Bar and Grill. They have their signature golden sauce, or they have ranch, and it is fantastic food. It's a great way to start a meal, and then whether you get a salad or a sandwich or a burger, you're going to have great food at the Fenton Bar and Grill. It really is the place to go for lunch or happy hour. Playing golf today, after your round, head on over to the Fenton Bar and Grill and say hi to Casey and say hi to Kelly and say hi to Megan. The whole group is so much fun, and they're going to treat you really well. And by the way, if you want to watch some ball, head on over to the Fenton Bar and Grill. They're huge sports fans. Every game that you want to watch is going to be on. When you want to watch the USA Olympic team, that'll be on if you want it to be on. Of course, the Cardinals and the Pirates will be on tonight. You'll love the Fenton Bar and Grill. Learn more at FentonBarandGrill.com or find them on Facebook. And when you stop by, tell them Randy sent you to the Fenton Bar and Grill. Several years ago, Mind's Eye Radio had 101 ESPN out to participate in a beep ball game, and it really is amazing. It's baseball for the blind, and it's actually a softball that does beep. And with the sound of the ball coming in when it's pitched or when it's coming to you as a fielder, it's extraordinarily difficult, and it's wonderful to allow these people that are deprived of vision to have the opportunity to play baseball. And this week, Mind's Eye and Lighthouse for the Blind are partnering with the National Beep Baseball Association to host the 2024 Beep Baseball World Series through July 28th at Slyman Brothers SLYSA Complex in St. Charles. You can get more information by going to mindseyeradio.org. Mindseyeradio.org. The event draws athletes and fans from all corners of the country. And Brooke, I know that you've covered this in the past. I played, not well, but we're both well aware of what Mind's Eye Radio does and what beep ball is. And the whole beep ball World Series event is going to be great this week.
It really is. It's such a cool event because I was able to cover, they brought out some, I thought maybe you were out there that day too, but it was more on the TV side. So it was like Martin Kilcoyne and I and Frank Cusimano out over at SLU, and they showed us a demonstration of it with some of the players, and it's incredible what they're able to do. It's also different. They use alternative equipment. Do you remember that? Like where they have the tall padded bases that buzz for the players. And obviously, as you mentioned, the ball makes a noise too, but the way that they are able to use the alternative equipment, and then they let us try. And you talked about how hard it was. I tried, and I did not hit a single thing.
No.
It was so hard to do.
You can learn more, as I mentioned, by going to mindseye.org. And then they've got a tab at the top of the 2024 National Beep Baseball Association World Series. And the opening ceremonies are actually today. So you can get on over to SLYSA at 4 o'clock, and it's going to include a welcome from the St. Charles Mayor, Dan Borgmeyer. The national anthem will be performed by Navy Petty Officer Gennaro Wilson, one of our favorites, who will have the national anthem. And following the ceremony, they're going to host a Kids of Our League clinic, KOOL, from 5 to 6 for children to learn to play beep ball, including batting, base running, and fielding. It really is a great event to come to St. Charles. Looking forward to it this weekend, or this week, throughout the course of the week through the 28th. It's the National Beep Baseball World Series. And it's so cool. And one of our former employees here at 101 ESPN, Jason Frazier, is in charge of Mind's Eye. He's the executive director over there and does such a great job in providing people with an opportunity to do things that they couldn't do in the past or ordinarily wouldn't be able to do. But here you've got blind people playing baseball and playing it really well. That's the amazing thing, is how well they play.
Exactly. And just to show you how much of an impact this has, we have a text from Troy from Independence. He says, "Good morning, guys. I'm so glad that you are going to be talking about the Beat Ball World Series. This is so cool. When I lived in St. Louis, I was a member of the Beat Ball team here in St. Louis for the first 5 years, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I always wanted to play baseball when I was a kid, but due to my lack of vision, I was unable to. So this game fulfilled a dream of mine."
That's amazing. That's so great to hear. And our friend Benji Molina is going to throw out the first pitch at the championship game coming up on the 28th.
Cool.
So it's really well done, and it's a great job by Mind's Eye and Lighthouse for the Blind. And again, it takes place in St. Charles, and you can learn everything that you need to know about the Beat Ball Baseball World Series at mindseyeradio.org. Teams from Atlanta, Austin, the Bayou City Heat are from Houston. You've got teams from College Station, Texas, Boston, Philadelphia, Chicago, Cleveland, the Houston Hurricanes, Indianapolis, New Jersey. You've got an Oklahoma Lookouts team. You've got teams from California. It's really a national event, and it's right here in St. Louis. So that's pretty cool, and good for them, and congratulations to all the people that get to participate in the World Series.
It's incredible. And also thanks to the Cardinals. I know that they're one of the people who are supporting, Cardinals Care supporting, and you also have Riggs and Canes, a lot of local people who are supporting this.
Looking forward to it. Coming up next, we've got the Rush Hour Reset here on 101 ESPN. My friends at Chesterfield Fence and Deck do such amazing work on outdoor projects in the St. Louis area. If you see a sign as you're driving down the road on a fence that says Chesterfield Fence and Deck, that's the sign that you've got the very best. And they do amazing work on all those different items, whether you want a fence or a deck, a sunroom, a screen room, a patio, a pergola. Sometimes you need to have that patio replaced. It just gets old and dingy. At Chesterfield Fence and Deck, they do fantastic work on designing and putting in a perfect patio for you, and they can put it in different shapes. They can use different styles. They can use stone. They can use pavers, and they do fantastic work on everything they do. That's why they're rated with an A+ rating by the Better Business Bureau. And that's why they're able to offer you 5-year labor warranties plus comprehensive material warranties as well. They're a Better Business Bureau Torch Award winner, and you'll love them. Tell them Randy sent you, by the way, and get 20% off your next installed outdoor project with Chesterfield Fence and Deck. The number is 800-300-4054. They're on the web at chesterfieldfence.com. Chesterfield Fence and Deck, the sign you have the very best.
Recapping the biggest sports stories of the day on the opening drive with a Rush Hour Reset.
It is 9:02 in St. Louis. Your time check brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. Brooke Grimsley, Randy Carricker, Matthew Rocchio, and the Cardinals back in action tonight as they open a series against the Pirates. By the way, tomorrow night, the Cardinals get the pleasure of batting against Paul Skeens of the Pirates. Tonight, in the opener of the three-game set, the Redbirds will send Andre Palante to the mound against Mitch Keller of Pittsburgh. This after a 6-2 victory yesterday in Atlanta as the Cardinals took 2 of 3 from the Braves, and the Cardinals hit 4 home runs. Miles Mikolas with another quality start for the Cardinals, who are sitting pretty in that second wild card spot, a game and a half up over the third place team, wild card team in the National League.
Yeah, you have the Cardinals continuing what they were able to do towards the end of the first half. So you have to feel pretty good about that, I would say. And you have the trade deadline looming, which I know that we're touching on here in the next segment. But I feel like there is a lot of good buzz surrounding this team right now. If you would have told me that they would take 2 out of 3 against the Braves and they really could have swept the series, honestly, then I think I would say, yeah, that's a pretty good start to the second half of the season. Now, what will they do against the Pirates? That will be interesting. But to continue this momentum, I think is huge for them.
And we'll talk later about the Pirates kind of being scary now, too.
Yeah, I think Skeens might have something to do with that.
Yeah, I think he's got a lot.
Cruz is pretty good, too.
To do with that.
Yeah.
Right. Other things that happened over the course of the weekend, a 1-1 draw for St. Louis City SC. Man, they just can't find a way to win a game. It's or a match on the pitch in Kansas. And they do have reinforcements on the way. I wonder how quickly the new players will be assimilated into the lineup. Excuse me. How quickly can they get some chemistry going and score some goals? They need to score goals.
Marcel Hartle. Yes. Yeah. Goals are very important, but Marcel Hartle, he arrived yesterday. I mentioned that earlier, and you had some fans greeting him. I think that he should be a good compliment with Leuven, but I don't know how soon he will be able to start. Did they talk about that, Rocchio?
Well, if you look at the timeline presented by the other players who arrived, Peter Toyshirt practiced with the team for about 2.5, maybe 3 weeks, and he was able to get out there and play 60 minutes. Yeah, I think he might have been doing a little bit of both. He got out there and gave 60 minutes essentially for City. So Jake Gertwood-Reich's only been here for 6 days. He only got like 7 or 8 minutes. So I think if you extrapolate that out, probably Hartle's looking at, again, probably 3 weeks of training or so to get to a 60, 70-minute player, and then probably the full month to maybe push to that full 90. So I think the FC Dallas and FC Juarez games will be important, and more so than last year, I think moving on and getting to play a third game in the Leagues Cup could be extremely important for this team to get Reich, Toyshirt, and Hartle as much time in actual game time, not just training, as possible.
What number does Reich wear?
3.
Okay. By the way, Matthew, is this team? Is there a chance? Mathematically, there's a chance.
Yeah, mathematically.
Is there a realistic chance for them to make the playoffs this year?
No. I think I saw somebody do the math. So they have 9 games left, which means they have 27 points available. Realistically, you're looking at probably having to take between 22 to 24 of those 27 points. So that's hard right off the bat. So to take 24 of 27, you'd have to win outright 8 of 9. To take 22, you'd have to win outright 7 of 9, and then draw one of the other 2. So I mean, we're talking about a 7-1-1 and 8-0-1 record. It's just with what's been happening, it's not very likely, especially when you consider I think 6 of the 9 are away games, and you have not won a game away from City Park yet this season. So every variable, every mathematical possibility tells you they ain't playing in the playoffs.
Okay. Xander Schauffle wins the Open for the first time since 1982. USA players won all 4 majors. Now, this year, Brooke, there's kind of a 5th major because we have the Olympics.
The Olympics. How much do you think it matters to the players about the Olympics?
A ton. And that's why Scheffler and Schauffle are playing, because they are thrilled about representing their country. I'm very intrigued to watch golf at the Olympics. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And you do have the best guys. It's going to be really fun.
I think I am going to tune into a lot of the Olympic stuff this year. At first going into it, I was like, maybe there'll be a couple things that I pay attention to, but there is actually a lot of great stories surrounding it.
Opening ceremonies on Friday, by the way, and a word this morning that LeBron James is going to be the flag bearer for the USA team during the opening ceremonies.
I mean, who else would you have do that?
Nobody. But sometimes you just wonder if a guy is willing to, or are the basketball players going to show up for the opening ceremonies. It's cool to know that these professional athletes, they want to be part of it. They want to be part of the Olympic experience, and that LeBron is going to be front and center for the USA.
Yeah, I think that's what made some of the other past teams, when we talked about the Redeem team and the Dream team, just so popular and maybe even iconic in our minds, is because they cared so much about representing Team USA and winning.
Does that surprise you, by the way, with big money pro athletes like Schauffle and Scheffler and these basketball players? I'm pleasantly surprised that in this day and age, they do care so much. They aren't getting paid. They do care so much about representing the Stars and Stripes.
It does, because it seems like we see so many other stories now of players prioritizing money, which I do understand that aspect of it. I mean, you have to think about your future, money coming in, the health, there's so many factors to it, but I think it does mean a lot when players say that. You've also had some baseball players talk about how they want baseball to be a part of the Olympics in 2028.
And I wonder if the major leagues, I hope the major leagues would defer, and if they have to, just shut it down for a couple of weeks and don't have a World Baseball Classic. It wouldn't bother me at all if baseball would shut down for a couple of weeks to allow major leaguers to play in the Olympics. First of all, a Dominican team would have to be in there.
Oh, yeah.
The U.S. and Japan, that rivalry continuing would be so much fun.
Korea.
Yeah. Could you imagine? Because you're only you're 4 years away, but Shohei will only be 31. Yamamoto will be 29. I mean,
Bryce Harper for Team USA. How old is Bryce, by the way? He's got to be like...
He's not 30 yet, I don't think.
Really?
Maybe he is. Maybe he's 31. But he'll still be around. But there will be Mason Wynn. You'll have a lot of good young... Heck, Alec Burleson. You'll have a lot of good young players worldwide.
He's 31.
It'll be a global game. It'll be a lot of fun.
I think that it's something that would be really cool to have. And Bryce Harper, by the way, was one of the players who was speaking out about how badly he wants there to be Team USA and baseball in the Olympics. I think that would be really cool to see. But to your point, with the World Baseball Classic, do you think that they would?
I hope that they are open-minded enough and self-aware enough to realize that the World Baseball Classic doesn't hold a candle to the Olympics.
But I'm saying with some of the negative stuff that came out of the World Baseball Classic, where you had some injuries, obviously we saw the Cardinals side, but on the other side as well with some other players.
I think it's important for Major League Baseball to understand that the Olympics are bigger than they are. And that's self-awareness. Now, are they going to do that? Probably not. They never have. They've always sent college players or minor leaguers to the Olympics. But I think it'd be really fun for 1 year. Just do it 1 year. You're in LA. I mean, you're playing at Dodger Stadium, right? So I think it'd be a great showcase. If baseball truly wants to globalize, it'd be a great showcase to globalize their sport.
And that's usually what the Olympics does, is that the different sports that get added for each edition are culturally relevant to the hosting nation, hence why breakdancing is a medal sport in Paris for this year, because it's a big cultural thing over in Paris. It would make sense to make baseball a medal sport here in America when we host the Olympics. I imagine that'd be a good one. Lacrosse, I think, would be another good one.
And softball, too, obviously.
Softball,
softball.
Flag football.
That's coming.
But do you let the NFL players
I'm a little
play
risky now. I'm a little worried about what happens in the flag football in the Olympics with the way the World Football League's going.
Oh, no doubt about it. Yeah. So
we don't even know who those people are. I'm more into the conspiracy theory that it's fake news, that's not real.
I hope that's the case.
I feel like it was fake news put out there to make us believe that somehow there's a football team that we assembled that has United States involvement that would somehow be beat by other countries,
that wouldn't
like
win
Japan.
by 30. Yeah.
Yeah.
Send Mizzou. Send Illinois. By the way, Kerry Davis named the Illinois radio analyst.
Oh, yeah. I didn't see that.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Congratulations.
ILO. Yeah.
Let's go, Kerry Davis.
Yeah. So that's cool. But yeah, send all the 20 or the under 20 players on a Power 5 football team, and they'll win. They'll win that, or just get all the under 20 players from the SEC or the Big Ten or whatever. But anybody who wants to play from any Power 5 conference, put together a team of under 20 players, and you win that thing.
100%.
Let Nick Saban coach. He's retired. Didn't want to do it. Be fun.
Would he, though?
Yeah. One other question, by the way, and we've got Chip Caray coming up next. So we get to the 2028 Olympics. We have flag football. Tyreek Hill wants to play. How many kids does Tyreek Hill have by the time those Olympics start?
Randy.
He's up to a dozen, cousin, right? Is it 12?
I think it is 12.
Yeah. So is he up to 16?
It's very confusing to me.
One a year by then?
No. Did you say how many?
16.
16?
One a year.
No. He has to stop eventually, right?
Eventually.
Why would he want that many kids?
I don't know if he wants them. I think he's just maybe he doesn't realize how he gets them.
I think he does.
Hope so. That's Brooke. I'm Randy, and that is today's Rush Hour Reset. Coming up next, Chip Caray, TV voice of the Cardinals on 101 ESPN.
It's time for a DraftKings at Casino Queen Redbird report on 101 ESPN.
Brooke Grimsley here for your Redbird Report. The Cardinals taking 2 of 3 in Atlanta this weekend after Alec Burleson hit 1 of the 4 solo home runs for the Cardinals, leading to their 6-2 victory over the Braves yesterday. It was the first season series win against the Braves since 2017. The other homers came from Paul Goldschmidt, Lars Dupar, and Wilson Contreras. On the mound, Miles Michaelis allowing just 2 runs on 7 hits over 6 innings while striking out 3. The Cardinals will be in Pittsburgh today to open a 3-game series against the Pirates. Andre Pallante is the scheduled starter. First pitch is at 5:40.
The Redbird Report is presented by DraftKings at Casino Queen. Play, stay, dine at DraftKings at Casino Queen.
Hey, on this Monday morning, if you're considering selling your home, you need to get in touch with my friend Gloria Liu of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. You know, the agent you choose to sell your home does matter, and you need a written guarantee that you're going to get your desired price and be able to close in your time frame, and that eliminates the guesswork. That's exactly what Gloria does. You also want the most money, right? And Gloria already has buyers for you. Thousands of them, in fact, that are looking for a home just like yours and willing to pay top dollar. How does she have those buyers? Well, it's interesting because she's been in the business for 20 years, and she has thousands of ready buyers because over those 20 years, she's built up an exclusive database of people looking to buy in your neighborhood and in your price range. It's pretty incredible, and Gloria is going to net you the most money and create the highest demand. Gloria Liu is St. Louis real estate authority with over 20 years of experience, hundreds of homes sold in just the last 12 months, and the only agent I'd trust to sell my home. Here's your next step. To get started, call Gloria Liu at 314-325-6888, 314-325-6888, or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. As always, Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date. To learn more, visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. Brooke and Randy on 101 ESPN. The Cardinals in Pittsburgh to take on the Pirates over the next 3 nights. And Chip Caray, TV voice of the Redbirds on Bally Sports, joins us this morning. Good morning, sir. How you doing?
I'm doing great, guys. How are you?
Good. How much fun do you have? For those that aren't aware of it, you spent a lot of time in Atlanta as the voice of the Braves, and I know you have a ton of friends down there. Are those super busy series for you when you're in Atlanta?
Yeah, I was ready to get out of town, to be honest with you. Yeah, I said on the bus, I really wish a lot of people hated me more so I could have gotten some rest. No, but it was really wonderful seeing so many friends there. I had a great time. I spent 20 great years in Atlanta, and I just want to point out that in the midst of a bad year last year when so many people wanted to blame me for the 91 losses to the Cardinals, we've now won 3 consecutive series against the Atlanta Braves. So I feel very good about that. That made the trip to Atlanta really, really sweet, and our trip back to Pittsburgh, of course, even happier with a good flight.
Chip, do you find a lot of people who believe that? You mentioned did people actually come up and say that to you? I know you don't have social media, but
no, it's all in fun and games, right? You know,
yeah.
It's kind of like the broadcaster drinks. Oh, you say he has a no-hitter and a guy gets a hit and breaks up. We have nothing to do with any of it. It's just kind of fun stuff to talk about. You know, Brad Thompson, who has such a great sense of humor, always says, there's only really one thing that changed dramatically last year, and I don't want to name names, but we were able to move past that. And obviously, as I said, so many great friends, great memories there, great family history in Atlanta. Always nice to catch up with so many people who were so nice to us over the years.
And of course, Chip is from St. Louis and totally invested in our community. And I was thrilled last week to see that you're getting together with Cardinals Care and the Cardinals and Bank of America for Feed the Future and the ability to feed people in America. Chip, to me, the thing that bothers me most about America is that there's no excuse for us to have hungry people. So I'm really thrilled that you're getting involved with this.
Yeah, I couldn't have said it better myself, Randy. We are so fortunate. I mean, you just watch people, the amount of food waste that takes place in our country. And when you think about underserved and underprivileged people in all of our communities, not just St. Louis, who during the summertime, we have kids that go to school and maybe have to worry about getting one meal, if anything, when they're out of school. I mean, it's an atrocity. And I'm really, really thrilled that Michael Hall with the Cardinals, Bank of America have been great partners in this. We're just getting it off the ground, but every time the Cardinals turn a double play, there'll be a donation made. to feeding our future. And it's something my wife and my family and I are very passionate about. Our future is our children. We've got to feed them. We've got to nourish them, mind, body, and soul. And in a small way, if I can help do that in any way I can, I was all in, and I'm really, really pleased and honored that they thought me worthy of the campaign.
And you can join Chip in those efforts by going to cardinals.com/feedthefuture. Again, cardinals.com/feedthefuture.
Chip, thank you so much for doing that, and thanks to the Cardinals for also giving back to the community, which is something they always do. What was your big takeaway just from this weekend and the series? And we talked about this. Obviously, you take 2 out of 3 against Atlanta, but it really felt they almost could have swept the series, too.
Yeah, they could have, but, Oli was really agonizing over the decision that he made to pull Kyle Gibson out of that game. You don't let your starter make one bad pitch and lose a chance to win the game. And he was at 100 pitches. You had Ryan Fernandez ready and fresh. He's got a great slider. Rosario can't hit breaking balls that are effectively delivered. Ryan just made a flat slider, and Rosario, a good hitter, didn't miss it and tied the game, and that took away Gibson's chance for a win and got the no decision. But it was the right move at the right time. Game 2 was great. All the offense was fantastic to see. Sonny Gray was bailed out with the 4 home runs that he allowed by the Cardinals offense, and yesterday was great to see too. I think it's just a sign of what this team is growing into. I said before the break, the 2 weeks before the All-Star break and the week right after is moving season, and I think we've seen that from the Pirates, our next opponent. You play well before the break and right after, you can really solidify your playoff positioning. And for the Cardinals, they did that. They beat a good team. They gained a game on them for the top wild card spot. They have the head-to-head tiebreaker now if the Braves and Cardinals finish tied in postseason play, which would mean home field advantage in a potential playoff matchup. And now you go toe-to-toe with the Pirates, who are only a game behind us in the division, or 2 games behind us, I should say, in the divisional race, with a chance to stomp them down a little bit further. So the Cardinals are playing good baseball. The trade deadline is upon us. It's a week and a half away. There's some options and opportunities, I think, there to improve the club, and I think Mo will pursue all of those. But, look, it's a good time to be a Cardinal fan. It's exciting. It's a sprint now. We've got 60-some-odd games to go, and I can't wait to keep rolling along here in Pittsburgh.
Chip Caray with us on 101 ESPN. And, Chip, sometimes players allowed, like Paul Goldschmidt moving down to the 7th spot in the order yesterday, sometimes a player just needs to take a deep breath, and it seems like that's where Goldie was. And he gets the home run yesterday. Granted, didn't have an awesome day, but sometimes that can, not that it's a jolt, but it can just be a chance to hit the reset button when you change your spot in the order.
Yeah, I think that's true, and I think Paul is such a consummate pro. I read his quotes this morning. He said, look, Oli was being nice when he said what you just said. He needs a breather. Paul said, look, I just haven't played well. I think it's a combination of both of those things. Look, Paul was the MVP 2 years ago. He's not playing like that right now, and he's the first to admit that. It's certainly in there, but there's a lot of things he's still trying to work through, and that's something the Cardinals are really hoping obviously happens here over the next 2 months, because if he's anything close to what he did in 2022, and if Arenado is anything close to what he did in 2022, it's going to get real loud and real fun at Busch Stadium, which is what we're all hoping will happen. But needless to say, you get him down in the lineup, you get the guys that are producing up in the lineup, which is the way the game works. It's a merit-based system, and Paul would be the first to tell you that on merit alone, he's not worthy of hitting 3rd or 4th right now. That's certainly subject to change, and hopefully the home run yesterday is that jolt you were talking about, because we're going to need him to be an offensive force down the stretch now.
And, Chip, it is rather remarkable that here's a team that has Arenado struggling, that has Goldie struggling, but they still have a legit middle of the order with Burleson, with Contreras, with Donovan. There's a lot of teams that would like that 2, 3, 4.
I think so, Randy. I've said this on the air a couple of times. I think one of the most exciting things for me, being a relatively new guy here, is seeing the torch not being passed, but at least hands on the torch being ready to be passed, right? Nolan Arenado and Paul Goldschmidt are, on the back 9, if you will, of their baseball careers. But when you see Donovan and Contreras and Burleson and Ciani and Mason Wynn and the young pitchers in this bullpen all come through and be able to shine in big moments and big pressure situations that normally you see veterans handle, I think that's really one of the really encouraging stories of this 2024 season, is seeing where these young guys are going to take this franchise. They haven't shied away from it. They are inheriting the Cardinal way, and I think they're going to proudly carry that torch forward, which is what we all want to see happen.
And it's really exciting to see, especially one of the names that you mentioned, Alec Burleson. I mean, he has just been so much fun to watch in the first half of the season. It looks like he'll carry into the second half. I know that we just started the second half, but still already a great showing from him. How exciting is Alec Burleson to watch and just to be around, too? Because I've also talked about the aspect that he brings to the clubhouse, the fun he brings to the clubhouse.
Oh, he's a great guy. Look, I'm going to sound like one of the old guys yelling at clouds here, but it's really fun watching a guy swing the bat and not strike out. I mean, it's really important. People who say strikeouts are just another outs are dead wrong. Look at Alec Burleson. He doesn't strike out. He hits the ball hard. He hits the ball on a line, and he puts the ball in play, and usually good things happen for him. He's been terrific. It's an amazing story. Remember, he was not a cinch to make the club out of spring training. If you remember how the outfield was supposed to be aligned, and with the entrenched veterans you had, Burleson was kind of wondering if he was going to be the odd man out. And if he did make the team, it was going to be kind of as a DH. Where would the Cardinals be without him? He's done a remarkable job. The more he's hit, the better he's played. He's reshaped his body. He's reshaped his game defensively. Is he a Gold Glover in the outfield? No. But the Atlanta Braves went to the World Series with a guy named Ryan Klesko playing left field. And I would venture to say that Burleson's a better outfielder than Ryan was. So he's earned every bit of the success he's had, and his, as you said, his attitude, his joy of playing the game is infectious. And I couldn't be happier for young men than I am for Alec Burleson this year.
Hey, Chip, I was one of those shake my fist at the clouds guys regarding the designated hitter, and I always liked the idea of having to think about, okay, we get to the 6th or 7th inning and our pitcher is rolling. It's a 1-1 game or a 2-1 game. Do we pinch hit? I never considered the idea that we would never have pitchers in the 6th or 7th inning in a 2-1 game. So my thought about the DH has changed, but it's because the game has changed so much, and you don't have to make those decisions anymore because so rarely do you have pitchers that are rolling in the 6th or 7th or 8th innings.
Yeah, your pitcher's fate is determined not by where his spot comes up in the lineup and the score of the game, but how he's doing, right? I mean, that's really what it comes down to. That was the American League style. Sometimes a pitcher would give up 5 or 6 runs in the first 2 or 3 innings, and your manager would leave him in, and he would act as his own middle relief pitcher. The caveat to what you're saying for me is I used to watch Mike Fulton-Evans try to hit in Atlanta, and that would make you sick to your stomach. And every time he came up, I was praying for the DH. So I think from an aesthetic standpoint, it certainly made the game more entertaining, and it's given guys like Burleson and others and Marcell Ozuna, who's having a breakout year again for the Braves, another bite at the big league offensive apple. So that part of it's really, really good. I miss the strategy. I miss the small ball aspect of it. I think we see that in extra innings now. You know, how do you play? Do you play for 1 run or 2? That part of it's exciting. But I'll die on this mountain. I really like Jason Stark's idea of the double hook. When your starter comes out, you lose your DH. And you have to use your bench, and you have to have a good bench, and you have to utilize your bullpen effectively. I think that would be a great rule and a way to sort of hybridize the American League style and National League style of play before the universal DH took place.
Well, we were talking about the Olympics earlier, and I'm sure you've seen there's players like Bryce Harper talking about baseball being a part of the 2028 Olympics. What do you think about that?
I think it's great. Anytime you can represent our sport on a world stage, I think that's a great idea. I think it's like the World Baseball Classic, Bill Brook. How do you do it in a way that doesn't dramatically impact the schedule? I don't think we're going to see a shortened season. At least I hope not. I'd like to get paid. I don't think the players are going to take a 5% pay cut if you drop 8 games from the schedule. So it's a matter of how do you work that out in a way that doesn't really affect your team that's paying you tens of millions of dollars to play for them and not necessarily your country. Other sports have been able to do that, but I think it just depends on how the calendar falls and how we do it. But I think it's a great idea. I think it'd be a great way to nationalize or internationalize the game, or more internationalize the game, I should say. And, I would put up on my hand to be the international broadcaster for the expansion teams in Paris, Barcelona, Madrid, and Rome. I'll throw that out there in case Rob Manfred is listening.
Absolutely perfect. And we know he is, so I just thought of this. It took me, while you were answering that question, I thought, okay, we won't have an all-star break. We won't have an all-star game. We took a week for the all-star break. We won't have an all-star game. And every team in a division will play a doubleheader on a Sunday during the season, a home and home. So that takes another 8 games out, 8 days of the schedule. So there's our Olympic break right there.
Yeah, I think you could do it. I mean, there are ways to do it. Obviously, the concern is how does that affect your pitching staff, right? When guys take 10 days off, there's a ramp-up period. I mean, you could expand rosters, and then you get into collective bargaining and service time issues and all that kind of stuff. And so what seems simple on its face is usually a lot more complicated than that. But I think it's doable. I think we could play more doubleheaders. I think that would be a great idea. I think every team should play a couple of them, both home and road. That buys you a couple days in the schedule. And another great rule would be 7-inning doubleheaders, as far as I'm concerned. Those were great during the pandemic era. But look, I think we're all talking about the same thing. Number one, we love the game, and we're talking about the game. That's good. Number two, the game is always changing and always evolving. It's never going to stop doing that, and it's up to us to adapt to it. And remember that at the end of the day, yes, the fans are paying the freight, but it is the players' game, and the way that they want it played and the way they want it compensated, those are all factors that have to be considered and not overlooked. And I think Rob Manfred is trying to do that, and hopefully we'll continue on this peaceful path, and we'll continue to see our game grow, not just here in the United States with expansion coming probably in the next couple of years, but across the two ponds east and west of us here in the United States.
Chip, thanks so much for the time, and congratulations again on helping out the hungry here in St. Louis and around the world. And we'll say again, go to cardinals.com/feedthehungry to help donate. And we'll be tuned in tonight, tomorrow, and Wednesday for the Cards and the Pirates on Valley Sports.
Randy, I appreciate the pop for the charitable thing, and if you guys would like to get on board with me, I'd love all the help I can get. It's a great endeavor, and we're really again thankful to the Cardinals Care and Bank of America for helping us get this off the ground.
You can count me in, absolutely. Take care, sir.
Randy, thanks so much. See you soon.
See you.
Bye-bye.
That's Chip Caray with us on 101 ESPN. By the way, this is amazing, Brooke. Baseball had like a 2-month strike from June to August in 1981, and I get that the game has changed dramatically. First night back, and the teams had a week to prepare, basically a week of spring training. First night back, the Cardinal and the Phillies starters both go 5 innings. Second night back, they both go 5 innings. And then I'll look at the third night back. Let's see, the Cardinals, Philadelphia's starter went 5. So this is a 2-month break, and they had a week to ramp up after the strike. And your starters were giving you 5 innings then.
Yeah, but this is now, Randy.
I know.
We've seen some of the show. I mean, even look at some of the Boris players. I know that some of them have actually picked up here recently, but look at the struggles that the Boris players went through without kind of a full usual schedule that they have been having.
Yeah. Walking into our second start, he went 7.
Yeah, I don't know if you can do that now.
I don't think so.
No.
I don't think you can. Coming up next, after a bad start, the Pirates have been hot. Have they become scary? That's next on 101 ESPN. Attention homeowners, are you prepared for an unexpected power outage? You know, around the country, we've had a few of those, and Hoffman Brothers has the perfect solution for you. Their reliable interlock kit. When the power goes out, you need a solution that's quick, safe, and cost-effective. An interlock kit from Hoffman Brothers lets you have the power that you need. It uses your portable generator to power your home safely and efficiently. With an interlock kit, you get the peace of mind knowing your essential appliances will keep running during a power outage. Imagine keeping your refrigerator and lights on all without breaking the bank. Don't wait until the next storm hits. Improve life in your home with Hoffman Brothers Interlock Kit. Our expert team will handle the installation, ensuring your family's safety and comfort. Call today for a free estimate. The number for Hoffman Brothers, 314-664-3011, or go to hoffmanbros.com. Hoffman Brothers, an independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer. Don't forget to get that air conditioner checked by Hoffman Brothers at hoffmanbros.com. Hey, I'm going to make my way over to Mentality on Wednesday. And guys, if you're driving around on a Monday morning and you're already fatigued and you aren't feeling great, here's what the issue could be. If you're beyond the age of 30, it could be low testosterone, and that's where Mentality comes in. Find out what they do at lowtusa.com. At Mentality, they're going to check your blood work to find out where your testosterone level is, and then they're going to restore it by giving you weekly treatments that will get your testosterone level back to normal. Now, your primary doctor is probably going to say your testosterone's in a normal level, but there's a wide variance of what normal is in the male body, and they're going to get your testosterone level at Mentality back up to the upper levels of normal so that your energy level is strong, so that you're able to get through workouts, so that you're able to get through runs, so that you're able to coach your kids and play with your kids and not come home and crash at night. You'll have more energy. You'll feel so much better and so much stronger with Mentality, and they're going to work with your insurance company to make sure that your out-of-pocket expenses as low as possible. Learn more at lowtusa.com. Sorry about that.
This is Rock here with your Sports Center update, driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoflex. Cardinals take 2 or 3 from the Braves, and they will start a 3-game series against the Pittsburgh Pirates tonight. 5:40 first pitch. It'll be Andre Palante, the righty for the Cardinals, 4-4 on the season, facing off against the righty for the Pirates and Mitch Keller. Keller on the season is 10-5 with a 3.46 ERA. Want to hear more Cardinals talk? We talked to the voice of the Cardinals, Chip Caray, just in our last segment. You can go back and listen to that later on today on our Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers podcast, available always on 101ESPN.com. Also over the weekend, St. Louis City SC traveled to Kansas and walked away with a point, facing off against Sporting Kansas City. They go into the League's Cup break 10 points back from the 9th spot in the West. That is your Sports Center update, driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. See them at londoff.com. Chevy, together we drive. Are you kidding me?
Grimsley has some breaking news for us. Is somebody using leverage, which is a smart thing to do?
So, according to reports, Jordan Love will not practice at training camp until his contract extension is finalized. However, they are hoping and they think they're getting close to both sides working out a deal soon.
Jordan Love is going to make $55 or $56 million a year after starting 1 year in the NFL. Brooke, have you ever heard of Sean Clifford?
Yes.
You know Sean Clifford?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, he's the backup to Jordan Love in Green Bay.
Yes.
I don't know him.
Sean Clifford owns like a bank in Madison, Wisconsin.
Oh, okay.
I don't believe he's actually started. No, I don't believe he's a backup quarterback.
Sean
in the
Clifford
NFL.
was a fifth-round choice of the Packers last year.
Okay, sure.
They have a seventh-rounder from this past draft named Michael Pratt, who is their third-string quarterback, and those are the only quarterbacks on the Packers roster. Jordan Love, Sean Clifford.
Isn't everybody familiar with
Michael Pratt. Oh, yeah. Everybody knows Sean Clifford. Yes. Penn State quarterback. Yeah. 6'1", 218.
You mean the Sean Clifford?
Sean Clifford.
The Sean Clifford?
Okay.
Really?
He's... you know what? Belated,
so you're saying
HBD to
you're
Sean.
saying that you're not predicting that Sean Clifford is going to take things over. Is that what you're insinuating here?
He could be the next Kurt Warner, but probably not.
Well, you never know until you try, Randy. So this is the perfect situation for that.
I think that Jordan Love probably knows what he's doing, and it's not like Aaron Rodgers is his backup.
No, I think that things will get worked out. There's always some story in training camp of where you'll be able to get something like this worked out. Mm-hmm. I think it's just more because it's Jordan Love. The Packers have to give here, correct?
Yes, they do. Are you hardened, by the way, to the amount of money we talk about on a regular basis? We throw around $55 million a year on a regular basis. Are you still flabbergasted by an amount like that?
Oh,
or
100%.
I am too.
100%, especially when you compare it to other sports and the contracts. I'm always shocked.
Think if you work from the time you're 20 till you're 65, 45 years,
don't do it,
and make $100,000 a year and do well.
Don't do the math. It's just gonna make you sad.
I know it's $4.5 million, right?
Yeah, the math is just gonna make you sad.
Right, in a lifetime, in a very successful lifetime of making $100,000 a year, you make $4.5 million. And these guys are making $55 million a year. I don't begrudge them. I'm just amazed that we throw those numbers around as easily as we do. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, did you see the story this past weekend that Derrick Henry says that he spends over $200,000 on his body and maintenance every single year? When you hear that, are you laughing because of the injuries?
Yeah, LeBron's $1.5 million.
Yeah. So when you hear that, does that make you feel a little bit better? One, I think it's great. If you're making that amount of money that these players are making, they should be investing that back into their body and not just using the resources that they have, because they do. They have a lot of, you've seen, especially NFL players, the access that they have to the trainers and different things they have at the facilities, the food, all of that stuff. But to also continue to invest that into yourself, I think is the next step. That's what I would like to hear from a player, that they're spending that much money on their body.
Steven Jackson. We had a Steven Jackson question in the fight. He was that way.
Yeah.
Spent a ton of money on his body. Yeah, I like to hear about athletes that are reinvesting.
Do the Taylor Wan route when it comes to spending money on your body. For those who don't get that joke, he got that huge contract in Tennessee, and then he took a supplement from outside the organization that he said was in his pre-workout or protein, I believe, that is banned. So
yeah, not great. But think about how much Brady must have spent on his body, right?
Oh, my gosh.
To play until he was 46 years old.
Yeah.
Pretty incredible. One guy who's going to make he'll probably make $50 million a year relatively quickly is Paul Skeens. Started in the All-Star game last Tuesday. Tomorrow night he's going to start for the Pirates. The Pirates started the season 26-31 for April and May. Since then, June and July, their record has been 24-17. They're 2 games behind the Cardinals in the NL Central. And when you look at Mitch Keller, who's starting, Jared Jones, who's on the shelf right now but will be back, and Paul Skeens, and hopefully they'll make a move at the deadline. The Pirates, to me, are a very scary team for the future in the National League Central. Maybe the scariest National League Central team.
Yes, and because of Paul Skeens and what he's doing, but they have a lot of talented young pitchers that are contributing right now. And you have O'Neal Cruz and what he's been able to do. There's a lot of exciting young talent that the Pirates have, which makes this series really exciting, in my opinion. And you get to see Paul Skeens, so...
Yeah. But they, a guy like Sawinski, who was Jack Sawinski. Now, all of a sudden, those guys are raised to a higher level because of Skeens. They'll be more visible. But Brian Reynolds has been a good player there for a long time, and he's still performing at a high level. He leads them in OPS at 842. They've gotten great work, as you mentioned, out of O'Neal Cruz. Andrew McCutchen has had a renaissance being back in Pittsburgh. And then there are guys like Rowdy Tellez and Connor Joe that have bounced around. They're reasonably productive for Pittsburgh. I think if they can add one more bat with what they have at the back end of their bullpen, I think they can be a real threat.
Do you think that with this team and the young talent they have, the Pirates will change their philosophy that we've seen over the past few years of where they might have some talented guys, they don't keep them?
I hope they do. Their owner, Bob Nutting, is
known for not spending his money.
Well, and pocketing his revenue-sharing money rather than giving it to players. If I were the Cardinals, if I were a revenue-sharing paying team, I'd be furious that teams like the Marlins and the Pirates are pocketing revenue sharing money. I think there should be a rule in the CBA that every penny you get from revenue sharing, you should have to spend on players. I think there is a rule, but they circumvent it somehow. But yes, to answer your question, I hope that he will change his ways and actually try to win.
I feel like you have to. When you have this much talent on the team, you have big names. You're getting national attention for Paul Skeens and what he's been able to do this season, and rightfully so because he's so talented. I feel like you have to invest that back into the team. You have to.
Yeah.
Do you wish that it would be back to how the schedule was prior to where you'd see the Pirates more often now that you have what they have going on over there?
I'll still take my chances long term with going against them every year 19 times. I would prefer that than this ridiculous schedule that they have now.
Are you against the schedule?
I'm totally against it. And the thing is, Brooke, it's the right schedule was laid out by Bob Costas 25 years ago. And why baseball hasn't adopted it, I have no idea. But it's the easiest thing in the world. It's balanced for every team that plays in a division. And I'll give it to you. In capsule form, this will take less than a minute. You play everybody in your division 18 times. 9 at home, 9 on the road. Every series is a 3-game series. That's 72 games. You play the other 10 teams in your league 6 times. 3 at home, 3 on the road. That's 60 games, gets you up to 132. Then you play another division, just like in the NFL, 3 at home, 3 on the road. That's 6 times 5, that's 30. So all of a sudden you're at 162 games. You get to see every player in baseball every third year. Every series you have is a 3-game series. You maintain the rivalries that are so great for baseball. And if you're the Cardinals, you get to play the Reds and the Pirates 18 times a year. I don't know why baseball couldn't figure that out. Here's why. Here's the problem with it. Tomorrow night, this week, you've got the Mets and the Yankees. The bane of my baseball scheduling existence is that somebody believes that we all want to see the Mets and the Yankees every year. And you got to see the Subway Series. That's the problem with the baseball schedule.
You don't want to see that every single year?
No, I can live without it.
Well, you get to see Aaron Judge, yeah.
I can watch the Yankees play the Cardinals. I can watch the Yankees play the Dodgers every third year. I don't need to see the Yankees and the Mets every single year.
You know, I honestly thought I would enjoy the schedule more because then you would see teams you don't see that often more. But honestly, I don't like it as much.
It doesn't feel great,
does
it?
No, it doesn't. It feels like I would rather have some of those rivalries and to see teams in your division a little bit more.
Yeah, I'm with you.
And not spread out so much.
Yeah, but the Pirates, at least for the next couple of years, as long as they keep Paul Skeens around, they should be pretty darn good. And they have a chance if they would do something at the deadline this year. They have a chance. Bednar and Chapman at the back end of their bullpen is really strong. They have a really nice bullpen. There's a lot of nice elements there, and all they need is one other big middle of the order bat. By the way, I didn't even mention Brian Hayes. They got a lot of nice things there.
They did sign him. They did keep him around. So I thought that maybe was a signal that they were going to start doing more with the organization.
Maybe it is. Keep him, keep O'Neal Cruz. They also signed Brian Reynolds. So give them credit for that. But now they just need to sign those pitchers. So Cardinals and Pirates tonight, tomorrow, and Wednesday. Coming up, we've got Rocc Roll here on 101 ESPN. Hey, I have some great friends at Together Credit Union, and they just launched a brand new high-yield checking account called Empower Checking. With Empower Checking, you earn above-market interest on the money you keep in your day-to-day checking account. How about that deal? Interest is paid to you each month. It's a checking account that rewards you for balances and not activity. To apply, visit togethercu.org or stop by any of their 14 area locations and work directly with one of their amazing member advocates. Get paid to save with Empower Checking. Visit togethercu.org. Empower for full terms and details. Again, togethercu.org/empower for full terms and details. Membership eligibility required. Together Credit Union, federally insured by the NCUA. And don't forget about the Together Credit Union City SC debit card. Again, stop by any of the branches and take advantage of great discounts at City Park. And you can also get express entry into City Park for St. Louis City SC games with the debit card from Together Credit Union. Learn more at togethercu.org.
Day.
101 ESPN is your chance to win a 4-pack of tickets to next Tuesday night's Budweiser Bash game. Cardinals and Rangers, world champion Rangers. And next week's Bud Bash game features a limited edition Steve Klein bobblehead. The dirty cap and all. You can get all the details on the season series of Budweiser Bash Cardinals games now at cardinals.com/promotions. Or you can text in now to 314-399-9646, 314-399-YO-HO to win Budweiser Bash tickets for Cardinals and Rangers Steve Klein bobblehead night on July 30th at Busch Stadium. Matthew, what is the question that people need to answer when they text in?
In his first year with the Cardinals in 2001, Steve Klein set a pretty impressive number. He led the league in appearances for a pitcher, and it's one of the highest numbers we've ever seen in the last 30 years in Major League Baseball. How many games did Steve Klein pitch in the 2001 season for the Cardinals?
And we will take texter number 82 for this one. Texter number 82 for the question, how many games did Steve Klein pitch for the 2001 Cardinals? Brooke is going to be hitting home runs. What?
Woo, go Brooke. I just have a question about Steve Klein. Let's talk about home runs.
Brooke is going to be hitting home runs Saturday. She's going yard as the fast lane will square off against the Rizzuto Show from 105.7 The Point at the Softball Home Run Derby hosted by the O'Fallon Hoots at Carshield Field in O'Fallon Mo. There's going to be a fast pitch home run derby that night featuring Rick Ankiel, Brian Jordan, and more MLB alums. General admission tickets on sale now for just $15. The Home Run Derby brought to you by Swiss Air Heating and Cooling, Faster House, and Zwickle Light. Get all the details on the O'Fallon Who's Home Run Derby now at 101ESPN.com. You ready to go yard, to hit some out of the ballpark?
I don't know if you need home runs, plural. Maybe home run.
A home run?
Maybe just one.
Need to be learned.
The goal is one.
Yeah, okay. You can do it.
I think I can. I'm more excited now about, I can't stop thinking about this pickleball game that we're going to play.
Okay, we'll set it up.
So So will it be the Rizzuto show versus the opening drive?
That's what King Scott wants.
Okay. So we all have to get out to a pickleball court.
Yeah, we do.
Everybody in this room. And then we'll get Dan on this.
Okay, good. And we can get a ringer. We can get BK. BK's with you guys next Monday. He's part of the opening drive.
Oh, okay. Does he play pickleball?
He's gonna.
I have to scout this out, if I'm being honest.
Okay.
I have to assess the situation from a tactical standpoint.
So you, like Keegan Bradley, are our captain.
Yes, exactly. I kind of have to assess people's athletic abilities.
Okay. Yeah. I'm sure the Fastlane's really excited to hear that you're more excited about a prospective pickleball match than their home run derby, which is actually happening on Saturday night.
I'll practice before then.
Yeah, right. You have 4 days. Good luck. Matthew, what do we got here on the Rock and Roll?
Honestly, I'm just fascinated by Steve Klein's numbers. We have a winner for the Bud Bash tickets because they correctly answered that in 2001, Steve Klein appeared in 89 games for the St. Louis Cardinals. But here's the thing that I just can't, it's blowing my mind, Rady. Here are his game appearances starting in 1998 with the Montreal Expos. 78, 82, 83, 89, 66, 78, 67, 67, 72, 68. And that's when he retired at 34 years old.
And he was effective.
That's unbelievable. And that's 1998 to 2007. And that's 66 to 89 games every single season for 10 years from age 25 to 34. And every year except for 2 is a sub-4 ERA. I mean, it's 50 to 75 to 80 innings each season. I just don't you see 82, 83, 89 games now like he does the last 2 years in Montreal and then St. Louis. And I'm thinking this guy's going to be Matt Bowman or Kevin Seegers. His arm's about to fall off, and yet he does it for like 6 more years. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, it's Jojo Romero's worn out after a half a season.
Right? Like, it's incredible what he was able to do.
Yeah, he was
Randy.
But you know what? That's why some people are unusual, and that's what makes some people great. Some people have what makes the great ones great is the ability to do things that other people can't do.
And the one thing I do want to say is Kylie McDaniel on Friday said this, and we didn't focus on it, but he pointed out that when Quinn Matthews was throwing 130 pitches for Stanford, he was doing it at 4 miles per hour less on average velocity. There's a reason why guys can't throw that many games anymore. It's because they all throw too hard. That's the bottom line, I think. I think it's kind of been a proven point at this point.
Steve Klein couldn't throw the ball straight. He's left-handed, and he never threw a ball that was straight to somebody. That's the thing about left-handers. You don't need to have 99-mile-an-hour stuff. The ball moves so much. He was the perfect pitcher for Dave Duncan, too. Maybe not Tony, because he flipped Tony off. But Dave Duncan, he was perfect because nobody could get hard contact against him. He was something. And it'll be fun to have him back in town. Kleiner's just a great, normal guy. You know what? We are out of time here, basically.
We are.
Yeah, we are. Great job today by our producer, audio, video engineer, the one, the only Matthew Rocchio.
Pleasure.
By the way, the buttons are sticky over there because we need them to be cleaned. Brooke, did you have fun today?
I did. I do have wet wipes if you want. You want a wet one?
No, not my job.
No? Okay.
Oh, we've got
sorry.
cleaning people. We've got cleaning people for this.
I always clean my keyboard afterwards because I care about the person after me, Randy.
That's nice of you. We appreciate that. And we appreciate you tuning in, texting in, and being a part of the show for all of us until tomorrow morning at 7 o'clock. Have a magnificent Monday, St. Louis.